mistaken. I believe in peace, but I won't be taken. I will not submit to authoritative man. I'm ready to die, but not for love. See the signs appear. It's gonna happen here.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, everybody in Butte, Montana, everybody hanging out in Battle Creek, Michigan, all those Ebolas in the Sierra Leone. Is that where it is? Sierra Leone? That's got to be
Sierra
one of them,
Leone
right?
and Liberia.
All those countries look the same. This is Alex, co-host Liberty Underground, along with me. In the world of politics, there is a secret party known as the Sinister. And that party is headed by the Prime Minister of the Sinister. And at last year's Sinister convention, Greg Bowen won Prime Minister of the Sinister. Greg, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
It was a close vote, wasn't it?
It was.
What was the vote?
I almost didn't make it. I only won by a half a vote.
They count half votes, don't they?
They do.
It's a weird
that
system.
close.
It's a weird system.
It is, but it's the best we got.
But it's the best we got. Oh, hopefully everybody's doing well. Today is a very special day. First off, Danielle is not here today, unfortunately. She is down with Adrian in Miami, and they are standing in front of the Telemundo studios, probably as we speak right now, and they are protesting their exclusion from the Telemundo debate. And I got to tell you, look, what I really find to be funny about the protest here on this one is, not the protest, but the Telemundo debate is, look, like, isn't like his routinely, what's the word for it? Racist. If somebody's racist against you, what do you... They're excluded on things. They're not included on things. They're treated badly.
Yeah.
For Telemundo to basically not let Adrian in the debates is like you've arrived.
Yeah.
Welcome to America. You know, I don't want to hear about your racism anymore.
Yeah. Well, you guys have learned well. You've assimilated into this country.
Assimilated well.
And you know how the game is played. You're already excluding
the libertarians.
candidates.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you for being here. I hope every one of your advertisers drops out and you have to close doors. I have no love lost for... Honestly, I will find every advertiser that advertises on Telemundo, and I'm just not going to buy their products. Oh, crap.
Uh-oh.
Should I take this live on the air?
Phone's ringing already. Who is it?
I don't know. It's a 386 number. I don't know.
I don't
who
even
it
know
is.
why your phone is on while we're on the air.
Yeah, good point. I'm not going to pick it up. I won't pick it up. Well, because I was a little nervous on the other with Adrian and them. I wanted to keep it live on the air in case somebody gets arrested and we can at least have that live on the air. So hopefully everybody's doing well. That's going on today. They're down there protesting right now. Hopefully they're all going to do well. We're going to give them a call about 9:30. But I wanted to start the show off this morning with something else. I was driving home yesterday. Now, I'm going to name this little thing here, and it's going to be some input, Greg, so I don't want to just think I'm going to be bloviating the whole time. But this is going to be called, What Do I Got to Do to Get You in the Game?
Okay.
Not to go off the Joker reference, but what do I got to do to get you in the game? Let me start this off. If you're listening to this show, this segment is not for you. This segment is for all of your family and all of your friends that don't understand what the hell you're doing. This is for you, and I'm doing it in the first half hour because I don't want to have to go through the whole show. First half hour, I want you to tell every one of your family and friends to listen to the first half hour.
Okay. And it'll be on YouTube. It'll be on SoundCloud.
It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on SoundCloud. Just tell them to listen to the first half hour. This message is for them. Okay. I understand that you're not politically active. I understand you look at a lot of people that are like me. People are standing on a street corner holding a politician sign. that are out there trying to change the world, and you are looking at them like they're crazy. Speak directly to you about this. I was once just like you. I understand what you're saying. I understand that at one point you were, and a lot of people say you were asleep. Now, I'm not trying to say this in a derogatory. I'm just saying I can understand. I was a person after the Marine Corps that would pay attention to politics, but not terribly a whole lot. I really wasn't very much involved from 2001 to 2000 and it's probably 8, 7 is probably where it really kind of started taking off. I was just trying to live my life. I thought one person could make a difference. I was more focused on football and on sports and on other things than I really was on politics. I thought that the people that were running this country pretty much had our best intentions, and that the people that were in political office had our best intentions in mind. I didn't, like probably most of you, I was annoyed by all the commercials of the politicians, but at the same time, I think, well, whoever wins, what's going to happen? I mean,
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, what's the worst that can happen? But these guys have our best interest in mind. Even after 9/11 in 2001, I was still in the Marine Corps at the time. My thoughts were we should go out and get these guys. Why would they attack us? Well, what's the point? Why would they do this? We have to go and get them. We got to bomb them. It's better to fight them over there than it is to fight them over here. You think of everything you can think of. I was with you. I was totally with you. I was much more important with making money, feeding, providing for my family, doing that kind of stuff, going out gambling, hitting a strip club, even though that is still kind of fun, but going to football games and spending my time and resources on entertaining things like this. It's what this country's supposed to be about. So I'm with you. Look, you're supposed to be able to live in America, and you're supposed to be able to do all these things and not have to worry about what's going on because of the freedoms that are guaranteed to you in the Constitution. So I'm with you. I understand where you're coming from and that you don't want to be involved. And if I didn't ask you, I wouldn't ask you to be involved, to be honest with you. I wouldn't. I understand. You want to live your life. You don't want to be worried about what these guys are doing. You don't want to dig all the way down the rabbit hole to see how bad it is. You'd rather just close your eyes, put your head in the sand, and not worry about any of it. I hear you. However, and I'm going to say this as delicately as I possibly can without going too terribly down the rabbit hole. Every level of your government has people in charge as a majority, not all of them, but as a majority, that are not in it for your best interests. They are in it for their interests, and they set up laws for their best interest and not yours. I'm sorry that this is happening. Again, not my fault. Not my fault. Well, partly my fault because I was asleep too. But these people are in charge and they do not have your best interest in mind. They may have even started off okay, but systemically, there is so much rot in the system that there is no way to get around what they do to people. Even people, like I said, that go in with good intentions get bought off quick. Now, they don't get bought off because they're evil. They get bought off because they get convinced that that's the right thing to do. And then eventually they just say, screw it, and they just, buy all the way in, and that's what happens. And they're just, again, let's look at, like, what they're telling you with, like, the healthcare law. Like, the healthcare law was like, we got to stop these, evil insurance companies from screwing you over. What they're not telling you is that the insurance companies wrote the bill that they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Again, I'm not telling you something that's a wild conspiracy theory. It's what happened. Again, I know that everybody wants people to be taken care of and that as a society, we're a very caring, grouping of people, and you think that, well, since the government's this big thing and I'm just one person, that the government should be dealing with these things. Every time they're bringing out a new program, they're not solving the problem. They use the same statistic now that we used during the Great Depression. The unemployment numbers would be bigger now than they were then. And again, that's not a wild conspiracy theory. They've placated you. Here's how they did it. They gave everybody that's on unemployment the little EBT cards. They give them the government's paying them on a monthly basis, and they're letting people on these programs for years. Now, this is not to say that we want people to die in the streets, but it's to say that it's not you. It's used to, again, let's go. The people that are well-intentioned are using these things in order to help their fellow man. The people that actually made the laws are using it to try to stop a French Revolution from happening in this country, because they realize that if the veil was lifted and you actually was going on, that you would replace all of them. And the best case scenario there would be that they were just thrown out of office. It could go French and people just start getting executed at that point. It's that bad. The labor participation rate is the lowest that it's ever been right now. What that means is, labor participation rate, what that means is that out of all the people that should be working, or that could work, that are of working age, it's at the lowest point ever that people are actually working. Lower than in the, as a percentage, lower in the depression area times. But I'm telling you all this not to scare you. It's actually to give you some hope. One, if you're listening to this, then more than likely someone has told you to listen to this first half hour of the show. They did it because they care. They also did it because they even explained to you why they wanted you to listen to it. Like, they can't even explain. Like, they almost, sometimes when people try to get other people involved, they kind of get mad at them. I'm not mad at you. I'm not getting mad at you at all in this, by the way. I understand. Again, I was like you. I just woke up earlier. There's a lot of people that I meet now that are just waking up now, which is why when I was thinking about this last night on the driving home, I literally was crying for a little while. It was a mixture of sadness and joy, but it was like a weird thing, and I wasn't drinking or anything. But I was coming home, and I was just thinking this on the way home. And the reason I say, what do I got to do to get you in the game, is this. If the people that are listening to this right now were to simply dedicate a little bit of time to understanding what is actually going on in the government and what it's going to take to fix it, and to start voting, and to start voting for the right people. Again, this race is the governor's race is a great example of this. There are a lot of people out there that are fighting for your freedoms, whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not. They're out there fighting every day for your freedoms. All they need from you is, at a minimum, support and encouragement. Maybe a little bit of money probably would be a good idea, but $20-$30 goes a long ways for a lot of these people. But if you're seeing the candidates on TV, if the media is embracing them like heavily, if they have all this money that they're using to buy ads and stuff, if all they're doing is running negative ads, those people are not trying to save the country. They're not trying to fix anything, because they should be running on their ideas. They should be running on what they want to do when they go up there. And if it's just platitudes like Charlie Crist does, like all he does is platitudes, like, I'm fighting for you. Were you fighting for them when you were getting money with Jim Greer? I mean, were you fighting for them then? Were you fighting for them? You weren't fighting for them. Charlie Crist is not your friend. Rick Scott is not your friend. These people are not your friends. Now, Adrian Wiley's not necessarily your friend either. I mean, you probably don't know him. You probably heard of him, but you don't know him personally. If you ever met him, then you would be like, oh, Adrian's a good guy. But the point of this is not even as much Adrian as it is in general, because this doesn't end in November.
It's you, the listener.
Yeah, it's you. It's the person listening to this right now. The person that told you to listen to this, or that asked you to listen to this, cares deeply about the country. And in reality, they care deeply about you and your family and your friends. And one of the reasons is that they're fighting so hard is because they want to make sure that they leave this country in a better state than which they found it as. They're doing it for you and your kids to live in a prosperous, free society where you are able to and do whatever it is that you want to do as long as you're not infringing on the rights of another. But in order for them to do that, they kind of need your help. I'm not asking you to get involved as much as they are. That would be ignorant of me to say that. I'm not asking you to do that. What I am asking you to do is, like I said, one, understand what they're doing and be supportive. Look, be supportive of their actions. The second thing is that find the candidates that you're going to vote for in an election and just make a donation to them. Again, maybe you look up and corruption and corruption's the name of the game for you, and Rick Scott's your guy. Then donate money to Rick Scott then, if that's what you're going to do. I mean, look, again, he's corrupt as the day is long. I wouldn't give him a dime. However, again, this argument is not to try to lean you necessarily one way or another. It is to get you in the game, though. Also realize this. In this election, they're probably going to see turnout in the 40 to 50% range. That means half the people are not even going to take the time and vote. Now, there is the anarchist argument that says that don't vote for these people because you don't want to do that. I'm not an anarchist, so I'm not going to. That doesn't fall for me. You need to find the best candidates, and you need to vote for them. And you need to realize that if they're not putting a guy on the TV, there's probably a reason behind it, and it's probably nefarious. Mm-hmm. It's probably not good. They don't want them to hear that. They don't want you to hear that voice. So please take the time, understand what's going on in this country right now. If you took 10% if you took all the time you watch sports and listen to football and baseball and hockey and whatever, and took 10% of that time and dedicated that 10% to actually understanding what's going on in your government, that would be enough. That would literally be enough. Instead of watching ETV, and watching, the fashion channel, which, if fashion's your thing, cool, I'm down, whatever, it's not my thing, but if it's your thing, I mean, obviously fashion's not down for me. But if fashion's your thing, take 10% of your time and start to understand what's going on. And don't just listen to don't just listen to me. Listen to everybody and form your own opinion. But get to the truth of the matter, though. Get to the root of the problem. And don't just buy into any of the BS that's out there, because there's all kinds of BS out there. Don't take anything at face value. Do your own research. Ask questions. Doubt. Make people stand on. Look, if you see me and you have legitimate questions, ask them. Ask the hard questions, because you asking the hard questions means you have to get an answer for those questions. And don't just take the answer, but also listen to the response, because many times when you ask a politician a question, the answer that you get is about 50 words that don't mean a damn thing. Mm-hmm. Look to see who's telling you the truth. Maybe somebody that you don't even agree with their position, but that person had the courage to tell you what their position was. At least that you're dealing with somebody honest. Because the one thing more than anything else that we're lacking in our electoral process right now is not that we have too many people up there that are liberals, or too many people up there that are conservatives, or too many people up there that are progressives, or too many people up there that are libertarians. We definitely don't have a problem with too many people up there that are libertarians, by the way. The problem is we don't have enough honesty in every level of government. And we don't have people in these levels of government that are listening to the people. They're not acting as their representatives. They're acting as their parents. And our government was never meant to have people in political office that use the monopoly of power. Government is, and you got to understand that government is monopoly of force, monopoly of power. That's what it is. In essence, it is they can come and shoot you.
That's really all it is. Sitting president, before he was elected in a forum, came out and said that government is the monopoly of force. That is all it is.
Yeah. And when it comes to things like the Second Amendment, they talk about how, you have to do the research on that and look up the facts on it. You have to do that. If you don't, then you're going to be ruled by people that don't have your best interest in mind. And your family or your friends, whoever told you to listen to this first half hour of the show, cares about you. They care about you deeply. They may not agree with you philosophically and everything. Go ahead, Greg. What were you going to say?
Well, I just wanted to chime in on what you were saying there, and let people know Alex isn't offering you new ideas here. He's not coming up with anything revolutionary. Plato once said, and this is pretty far back. This is a couple years in the past.
Not the stuff that you make things out of, right?
Right. We're not talking about the not the squishy stuff.
Even though the squishy stuff is fun.
But Plato, Plato, once said, "The punishment a wise man suffers for not taking part in his government is to be ruled by lesser men."
Yes.
If you are not taking part in your government, you're not paying attention, then you are being ruled by lesser men, which is exactly what Alex is saying, in that if you're not involved, people who do not have your best interests at heart are going to be making decisions for your best interest. And I want to take it a step further on what you're saying there, Alex.
Please opine, sir.
As far as we get it, we get that the world is a dark and dreary place when you get into this realm of things. When you get into politics and you start seeing what's really going on. I say this all the time. I cannot take enough showers to feel clean being involved in this stuff. I just feel dirty and grimy all the time because of the people that I'm dealing with. Because this is a disgusting business. But we have to be involved in it. And you want to watch your football games. You want to watch American Idol. You don't want to be distracted with politics. You want to be distracted with things that you can feel good about. But here's what you do to get into the game. Take those things that you do value, that you do distract yourself with, whether it's football or fashion or whatever, and just look at how the government is involved in that. Look at how government is interrelated to the things that are important to you. If you're a football fan, look at how your favorite team got their stadium. Look at who pays for that. Because it's going to be you. It's going to be the taxpayer. And if you're the type of person, there are a lot of people out there in this country who own their own small business, who like to go watch football on Sundays. If you own your own business, ask yourself, did the taxpayers help you purchase your property where you get to do business? Are you getting to churn a profit that goes into your pocket while the taxpayers are paying your bills? Because that's what football teams do. That's what hockey teams do. That's what baseball teams do. They get the taxpayers to foot part of the bill for their property while they keep all the profit. And they tell you that you're going to get some sort of ancillary effects through other events coming in and through all this revenue, when typically the profit goes into the pockets of the sports team owners, but you get to pay for their land. If you're okay with that, if you're okay with subsidizing millionaires and billionaires, then maybe you don't need to get involved. But if
or get involved to support those people.
Yeah. But this is just an example of the things that you are interested in. Every single one of them has a connection to government somehow. And if you look into it and research it, you may be happy with that connection. You may not be happy with that connection.
More than likely, you're not going to be happy.
More than likely, you're not.
More than likely, you're going to get kind of mad. But also, there are some lies that you've been told that I would like to try to at least dispel right now in the last couple minutes here. The first lie is that one person cannot make a difference. That is a lie.
In fact, it's the only thing that ever has.
It is the only. Damn, Greg, you're absolutely right. By the way, it is the only thing that has ever made a difference. One person standing up. Think about Tiananmen Square. Think about the one guy that had the courage to stand in front of an army of tanks and how that changed the world. One guy changed the world.
I'm changing my profile picture back to that right now that you said that.
It's a good idea. But one guy changed the world. You can change the world. It doesn't take much. Again, 2 out of 10 voters is what's deciding elections right now. 2 out of 10, 20% is what's deciding elections right now. If you simply if the only thing you did was go to your neighbors and tell them about what was going on, if that's the only thing that you did, you will have done more than enough. I'm not asking you to get heavily involved like some of us do, because, it is a little crazy. I'll freely admit to that.
Oh, yeah.
But it is imperative. If there was ever a time in this country's existence, other than in 1776, if there was ever a time where you needed to really kind of pay attention to what's, because we are going to be making it, there is a revolution that's going on in this country. It ain't televised. You don't get to see it on TV, but it's there. You see it on street corners. You see it with people that are so wanting to be engaged right now that they are willing to stand on a street corner, hold a sign, because they don't know another way to get to you. Because they can't just knock on everybody. One person can't just knock on everybody's doors, and some people just want to stand there with a sign. Let me finish it off by saying this, and then we'll get to the rest of what we're going to give Danielle. She's down there with Adrian at the protest for Telemundo, and we'll talk to her there. And if you want to keep listening to the show, but by all means, keep listening to the show. But this goal, even though this does sound like a funny marketing scheme here, the goal is not necessarily to get you to listen to this show every day, every Friday. We're only on 1 day a week, 3 hours a day. So if you want to listen, great. I'm glad that you do. You'll find some entertainment here, and you'll probably get mad at some of the stuff that I say or some of the stuff that Greg says, or when Danielle's on some of the stuff that Danielle says. But you'll know that at least we're honest about it. At least we try to be honest about it. But oh no, I got to get to the lies. The second lie is that your vote doesn't count. Your vote counts, but you have to make sure that you use it correctly. Vote for the person that you think will do the best job, not for the person that you think will win, or not for the person that they're trying to scare you. Right now, the Democrats and the Republicans realize that the gig is up. They realize exactly what's going on right now. And what they realize is that since 2010, 78% of the registered voters have registered without going to either one of those parties because they're disgusted with both of them. There are independent candidates that are running for office. There are third-party candidates like libertarians that are running for office. There's all kinds of people that are running for office. And other than some of those people being a little crazy, which, do your own vetting, because there are some crazy ones, most of those people are honest, they're not for sale, and they really are trying to get in office with the best of intentions. And they're not going to be owned by anyone else. Matter of fact, the other two parties will do everything they can to stop you from knowing about them, to stop you from hearing about their issues, to tell you that, well, if you vote for that person, then in reality you're voting for the other person. How many times have you heard that? A vote for this person is a vote for somebody you really, really hate, and we can't have that person in. That is used to scare you, but it's more importantly used to control you. I'm not telling you to do your own homework. You need to do your own work on this. And thank you for respecting your friend enough or your family member to take 30 minutes to just listen to what I had to say. Because I will be willing to bet you that person has had a hard time trying to find the words to talk to you about this because they didn't want to ruin a friendship or they didn't want to ruin a relationship, and they respect you. but they respect you so much that they want you to understand the why as to why they're involved. And think about it like this. If that's your friend and you respect your friend, then just, what's the word for it? Respect that person enough to kind of get into what they're doing and ask them some questions. You know, and if they can't answer the questions, they say, well, I'm not really the best at explaining this, but listen to this person. This person can explain it to you much better. Then do that. But ask hard questions. Don't just, don't just ask the fluff stuff. Use critical thinking. Go ahead.
And if you are one of those people that has registered to vote as non-party affiliated or independent because you are disgusted with the two major parties, even if it's just because of the ads that fill your TV, because you're tired of sitting there watching the news and every time they go to break, you're listening to people badmouth each other. Even if that's it, you're already so far ahead. You're already at least 60% with us.
Yeah.
So we're not asking you to go much further.
Yeah.
We just want you to follow where you already are to its logical conclusion and take a little more of your energy and put it towards what you already know.
Yep.
You don't have to get as involved as people like myself and Alex, but show yourself the respect you deserve and stand up for yourself and your ideas and what you know to be right, and don't let them distract you with things that aren't important. Keep your eye on the prize and understand your values and what's important to it.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Greg, if you don't mind,
Yes.
now that we've gone through that, and Greg did not know that was going to be happening this morning.
I did not. I knew nothing about that until he started talking.
Yeah, well, here's what it was, man. I just, like I said, I was driving home last night, and I just was like if we had these people's help right now, we'd be so much further along. We'd be so much further along right now. It wouldn't even be funny.
All right, I'm going to go ahead
But
and
call Danielle. Danielle is down at the Telemundo studios. She just said that Charlie Crist just drove by, and she is going to be getting on the air right now. And being on the air, she's going to be on the air live with us down there to give us a report right from the studio, or right from the front of Telemundo, to let us know what is going on. So, are you making the call?
Hello.
Oh, hey, Danielle. Danielle, you're live on the Liberty Underground show. If you haven't heard of this before, it's on Tan Talk 1340. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've heard your show is not one to be on. I may have to hang up.
Oh, well, that's not very nice considering that you've been on the show too.
No, I actually miss you guys.
Oh, we miss you too.
we miss you too, Danielle.
All right, Danielle, give us a report. What's going on down at the Telemundo studios?
Okay, well, Adrian is in the middle of an interview right now.
With who?
We have about 3 camera crews out here with us. We've had several reporters come out to interview him. We just welcomed Charlie Crist down the road with a large amount of Wiley signs and the big elephant and donkey crossed out as he was coming by. He kept his black shades on, so we didn't get any real reaction from him, but he definitely was welcomed by a whole bunch of Wiley.
Now, how many you got down there?
We're looking at maybe 15 right now. We've already had people say that they're still on the way because we're going to be here a while. So, but it's a cool little spot that we're in. We're all in the shade. There's a nice breeze. So if ever there was a good day for protest, today's the day.
Now, do you have supporters from the other campaigns there?
No. Wiley is the only one being supported out here. There's just a whole lot of Wiley signs everywhere. And then And the funny thing is that Wiley supporters are all dressed nicely. You're seeing a lot of suits and business attire out here as we protest outside a debate.
It's like the Brooks Brothers riot round 2.
It really is. It's very funny to see everyone all dressed as if we were going to be included in the debate. But of course, we've already had one security come out and say, you're on private property. You'll need to all pile onto the very small sidewalk.
Really? So they already had security come out and harass you a little bit, huh?
A little bit, just once. I mean, it hasn't been too bad. We're on both sides of the street. So on the one side, they did come out and say that everyone can be across the street or on their tiny sidewalk, but not on their property. But we've obliged, and now we're all we have a few people huddled up behind Adrian now because he's on camera, and the sidewalk is actually very small, so they have to be huddled.
So they have to be huddled just because of that. Now you got the big 8-foot signs out there with you too.
Well, we have the foot sign. We have the 2x3s. So we've got some. Everybody's kind of having everyone's doing double duty. They have a small sign and a large sign. So you can imagine me. I have completely disappeared.
The people can't even see you, huh?
No. I'm like a pair of eyes over top of a sign.
You're like a pair of eyes over.
It's like my signs are watching you.
My signs are watching you. Now, so you're saying, though, no Chris supporters, no Scott supporters at all?
No, I have not seen any, none are out here. Now, I did, as I'm speaking to you, did just see a man drive by with a Chris sign in the back of his car. So and he's kind of slowing down around where we're parked. So I have a feeling he's going to come out to us with a Chris sign, but he will be severely outnumbered.
Well, remember, sometimes it's hard to spot them, but you will be able to recognize the Scott and Chris supporters by the bags over their heads.
Yeah, what's funny is he's just kind of pulling up. He's kind of mulling around. I think he's going to come out here with one of those 4-foot Chris signs where he looks like he has jaundice. But like I said, he'll be severely outnumbered.
Jaundice. I love the jaundice Chris signs. It's always funny.
I swear, Chris' campaign slogan should be "Tanned, rested, and ready."
Tanned, rested, and ready. That actually would be a good one. That actually.
I think that's how he's running his whole campaign.
All right, now, is there anything else that you want to mention? Paint the scene for the listener, if you don't mind.
Well, we're actually standing under some really beautiful trees on one side of the road. Adrian is on the other side, on the sidewalk, with about 6 supporters behind him, all huddled up with signs because they have to be because the sidewalk is small. But every single person has to come down this road to get to the security booth. So they're all passing by us. Like I said, we just saw Chris, but every single car. And then as they hit security, they're actually they're being piled up for a little bit. So when they pile up, then as they pile up, then they're just a captive audience in front of all of our Wiley signs.
What has the reaction been from the drivers driving by?
Well, Mark Caputo gave us a little beep and a wave.
Caputo did, huh?
Nice. A couple of the other reporters also have. Most of them kind of look forward, like, let me pretend I don't see what I see. And in fact, that has almost caused several accidents in the security line. But a lot of the reporters know us. We've been in their studios, or they've been reporting on us for a long time, and they've been, waving and friendly.
Now, what about other drivers that are driving by? Are you in a place where there's just regular traffic going by?
No. Everyone who pulls in here is either here to put a camera crew in front of us or to be in the debate.
Oh, I got you. So this is different than the place that I was at when I ran.
Yeah, this is a different location. We're at the Miramar location, and you were in the Doral location. So it was very, very different, where they had different entrances and there was different traffic going by. This is almost like a private road to their studios.
I got you. Well, they had to do it to that one to try to make sure to continue the avoidance of people. Now, but so the mood's good, right? The mood's real good with everybody.
Oh we got reporters out here. We got camera crews. We got everything.
What reporters are out
Adrian
there?
is about to get interviewed by another camera crew right now. He's literally going from one to another.
Did the competing
His protest has turned into a media day.
now did the competing Spanish language news service go out there?
No, I'm not really sure if they have, although I do see some Chris signs walking up now. But they're asking me to go across the street to stand behind Adrian so that the whole crowd is in the camera shot.
I got you. Okay, so you're being told now to maneuver towards Adrian right now. Now, are you walking, you're taking your left foot, then your right foot, is that right?
Yeah. I'm going to have to let you guys go now because now my voice will get picked up on the camera.
Well, hold on. Can you give me to somebody else?
No, we're all here in the same spot.
Oh, all right. Well, here's the thing. Now, you have a phone number that's showing up, right?
Yes.
All right. When you're done and you can get back on the phone, though, give us a call.
Okay, I will do that.
All right. So maybe we can talk to Adrian, too, and maybe the other. Is Dan Ray out there?
No.
All right. Well, maybe some of the protesters that you think will be good, so we can get some words going on. And also, if you can put a Chris supporter on the line, that.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you a little bit then.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. All right. So far, so good. So far, so good. Which is kind of nice, by the way. I'm liking it. I'm liking what I'm hearing. What do you think, Greg?
I like it. I think it's funny that it, like she said, it's turning into a media day for Adrian. I really do think that their exclusion is going to backfire.
Yeah, no. I definitely think that as well. I think that is a big thing here. And this is what I thought was possibly going to be happening, is that because he was excluded. Now, look, and this is not to make fun of Telemundo, but there's just not a lot of people that watch Telemundo. I mean, a whole lot of the Hispanic community is, so 14% of the population probably listens to it a lot, which does make it kind of a shame that they would decide to not do this. That's why I'm hoping that the competing Spanish language station goes out there. I'm hoping the free market comes into play here, and that because Telemundo dropped the ball, that the other one, I think, I don't remember the name of the other one, to be honest with you, but I hope that they come out and actually pick it up.
I wonder how Telemundo is justifying this, because I don't think it's any secret to anybody that immigration in this country is just a complete mess. And obviously immigration reform is one of the biggest issues for the Hispanic community. You cannot, with a straight face, say that the Democrats are on your side on this. At best, the best you can say is that they've dragged their feet on the issue for you guys.
They've placated.
Yeah, that's the best you can say is they've dragged their feet. Closer to reality is that they've placated you. Probably the worst thing you can say is that they're completely using you and they really don't care. But obviously, the Democrats are that way. The Republicans are in no way on your side in this. I mean, quite frankly, the Republicans would send you all back to your respective countries if they had their way.
Can I disagree with you real quick on this one? Can I make a point to this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me give you. There is a segment of the Republicans that is definitely like that. There is another segment that wants to keep them here and keep them illegal because of the business interests that make money off of that.
Right.
I just wanted to say that there is a portion of it that is there to keep that does want it, because you can see that fight even going on in the GOP with the establishment side. The establishment side is looking for immigration reform, but their immigration reform will only continue the mess that we have right now.
Right.
Not to disagree with you, but
no, fair enough. I'll take that.
I still love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you too. But as these guys are not on Telemundo side and the viewers of Telemundo side, so it's interesting to me that Telemundo is going to play their game on their terms rather than looking out for the best interests of their community and their viewers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, here's the thing, and if people don't know about this, this race for governor here in Florida And this is not me saying this, even though I called this from the beginning. I got to say, I did call it. Not that it really took a whole lot to call this one, man. This was pretty easy. I mean, this was just, this is going to be the most negative race in 2014. Duh. Tell me something I don't know there, Madden. Hopefully some people are still listening and I can use a football reference so people can get there. But this is an article that came from from CBS News, actually. And this is one of the most negative races in 2014. And they are basically laying the story out about how negative this thing has been, and that it's coming from both sides. This is one of those things that is coming from both sides. Matter of fact, when it starts, the story itself is when Republican turned Democrat Charlie Crist. Now, first off, that is actually the first line. When Republican turned Independent turned Democrat Charlie Crist threw his hat into the ring for the 2014 governor's race, it appeared as if the former governor had a good shot of getting his job back. He may have raised some eyebrows by switching parties, but Crist is still much more popular than Florida's Republican governor, Rick Scott. Then Scott and his allies unleashed a slew of negative advertising for months. Florida voters have heard that Crist is a slick politician, but a lousy governor. They've heard that Charlie Crist is for Barack Obama and not the people of Florida. Since March, Scott and his GOP allies have spent around $44 million on advertising. The Miami Herald reported last week while Crist and his allies have spent a relatively paltry $19.7. Look, there is nothing paltry about $19.7 million, by the way. I can understand you getting outspent 4-1, but $19 million buys you a whole lot of negative ads that Crist is running. The bad thing about this one is that they're really... they're kind of laying Scott out without laying Crist out, which is really unfortunate here in this story that they're talking about.
Right.
But what has happened is that this has made this race one of the closest races that we've seen. It also means that neither one of these guys have seen north of 50%. Neither one of them have.
Right.
I mean, you got side polls and like the poll that came out for Hispanics had Crist up in the 50s, but only in the 50s. Had the other guy in the 20s. Whole lot of undecided out there, even in the Hispanic community. Mm-hmm. And what they said was, furthermore, the Westland Media Project noted that more than 68% of those ads were negative, while 26% were positive, and 6% were contrast ads. They are filling the airwaves with negative advertising. And it is backfiring. The reason it's backfiring is this. Look, Adrian Wiley has garnered in donations, I think about $110,000 right now. That's where Wiley's at when it comes to donations, $110,000. These other guys have, I think, together are at about $100 million. You're looking at $100,000 against $100 million. And in the latest poll, he's hovering around that 15% range. 10 to 15 is where he's at right now. That's happened in the state of Florida. It hasn't happened. What does that say right now? Well, one, it says you got two horrible candidates in Crist and Scott. But the other thing is that people are legitimately looking for something else. And the undecideds are breaking to Wiley in a big way. You know what I mean? I think they're waiting to just see, well, should I really vote for this guy? And then they're like, they see one more thing, like one more negative ad from Crist and Scott, and they're like, you know what, screw it, we're voting for him. We get emails from people. I said, I just voted for Wiley. Their reason why, and I'm not kidding you, this is the reason why. I have been assaulted, their words, not mine, assaulted with negative ads from Crist and Scott. I'm voting for Wiley. The government and the politicians never understand what blowback means, and boy, am I happy about that. What do you think?
Oh, I totally agree with you. And you know what's going through my head right now is the $100 million that these other two campaigns have, that's $100 million out of regular, everyday American citizens' pockets. Now, I'm sure a lot of this is corporate money and crony money, but there are also regular, everyday individuals who have a regular house in the suburbs, get up and go to work every day, probably don't have a whole lot of expendable income, but some of that they've given to these political campaigns. And these campaigns have taken your money and used it to spread venom and be as disgusting and heinous as possible. My child is seeing these commercials and is having young, moldable mind pushed into a line of thinking of venom and hate and talking about what you despise about other people. And by giving money to these campaigns, for one, this is not a surprise. This has been going on for every election since I moved to Florida in 1989. That's how Florida politics runs. It is vile and dirty.
That's how they roll.
It is disgusting. These people make me sick with the tactics that they use. And so if you are still giving money to these people, it's not a surprise how they're going to spend that money and what kind of campaign they're going to run. You are a part of the problem. You are giving these people money to be vile and disgusting and spew venom and turn our public conversation into a disgusting, hate-filled mess. And that's your money. You are paying for this by donating to these campaigns and to these parties and to these PACs that put out these messages. You are responsible for this by giving them your support. And you're responsible for not standing against them, for not speaking out and telling them, look, you're spending my money in ways that I don't agree with, and you're making me look bad as your supporter.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good point, by the way, Greg. I like where you're going with this. Can I expand upon what you just said?
Absolutely.
If you don't mind, sir.
Absolutely.
Your vote is your support. Your money is your support. If you don't like the way that they're going about doing business, you have an option. Don't support it. Now, a lot of people have stopped supporting it. And if you go to the campaign finance records of Rick Scott and Charlie Crist, what you see is a ton of people that are $3,000 donors, $3,000 donors, $3,000 donors. There's very few of them that are the smaller donors. Many of them are the higher donors. And a lot of them are corporate. A lot of corporate money is going to Crist and Scott. Mm-hmm. It's a battle of billionaires. And both sides are claiming that they're for the people. I don't know how you're funded by billionaires and claiming that you're for the people at the same time. Because that dog just don't hunt. You have to understand that this is what these people are doing. And that they are getting you to do, like, you want to talk about political games. Let me bring this new political game that's going on right now. We have a governor, an AG candidate that's running right now by the name of George Sheldon. He's a Democrat running for Attorney General. And this is the game that the Democrats are playing right here. George Sheldon is not a serious candidate for Attorney General. Pam Bondi, and I'll say Pam Bondi is the current Attorney General, and Bill Walsifer, who's the Libertarian candidate for Attorney General. Those two are actually serious about their job, about going for their job. Sheldon's in the race to go attack the government. Now, don't get me wrong. His lawsuit may have merit. The problem is that somebody else should have filed it because George Sheldon should be more concerned about his race. Mm-hmm. He basically has now said, without saying it, but he's basically said, I've thrown in the white towel. I'm not going to win the AG race. I'm not even going to try. So let me see if I can do some damage to Scott to help out Charlie Crist, who was the last Republican governor. So the Democrat is helping the last Republican governor beat the current Republican governor. That's how sick and twisted this stuff is, folks. That's how sick and twisted it is. So he files a lawsuit saying that he's underreporting that Rick Scott's underreporting his actual wealth, and that he needs to, he's basically suing him for that. Now, Scott may be hiding this. He may be doing these things. But George Sheldon's not the guy to do it. He's doing it to provide Charlie Crist cover. If Crist is if Crist wants to do this so bad, then why doesn't he just do it? He doesn't because he's a coward.
This is an example of the stuff I was talking about a little while ago about how I cannot shower enough.
Yeah.
You can't feel clean in this business.
The thing that now they're attacking Rick Scott on, which again, I'm not here to defend Rick Scott, by the way, not at all. I don't like Rick Scott. I think he's a really bad governor. I think that Rick Scott's a horrible governor, about as bad as when Charlie Crist was here, because he was a bad governor too. But here's the thing. Now what they're doing is that they're saying that Rick Scott to return $1.2 million in campaign contributions from Duke Energy. Duke Energy gave Charlie Crist money. Why aren't they going after Charlie Crist for the money he's getting from Duke Energy too? Like, if you're going to make this claim against Rick Scott, which is a legitimate claim, if you had any intellectual honesty in you, then you would do the same thing for Charlie Crist.
Yep.
But you don't. And the reason that you don't is because you're only in it for Charlie Crist, and you don't even care about Duke Energy. You just want Charlie Crist to be the guy. Here's the thing. Standing with a giant caricature posing as Governor Rick Scott, about 4 dozen protesters gathered outside the governor's St. Petersburg campaign office and called him to return $1.2 million in donations from Duke Energy. The group, led by billionaire Tom Steiner from Next Gen Climate Political Committee, called the donations. We're getting a call back in from Danielle.
Call.
All right, let's get a call back in.
Danielle, you're on the air.
Hey, guys.
All right, how's it going?
Okay, well, I'm calling back. We have a small group of Crist supporters here. So we're probably about even in support for Crist and Wiley.
No Scott people,
but
huh?
The media is not interested in really interviewing any of the Crist supporters. They actually pass right by them and have now, for a minute there, congregated around Adrian to the point where I couldn't even get a picture because you would not have seen Adrian in it.
Now, so the Crist supporters are around Adrian right now?
No. The Crist supporters are just down the street. What they've done is made sure that they've put one of Crist signs in front of every single Wiley sign, and they've actually been harassing. A long time ago. The Crist supporters didn't know they missed Charlie Crist. So, they've been a little disrespectful to our supporters, but that's right. We expect that from Republicans.
Well, hold on. Now, when you say that the Charlie Crist supporters have been disrespectful, can you give us an incident of what you mean?
Well, as they put their signs down, they've been and started laughing, and they've just been, very kind of, insulting and disrespectful. But we don't do the same things as them because we're not Republicans or Democrats. But yeah, they've been rude, they've been disrespectful, and for a while they were blocking traffic. So everybody else was a little mad at them too.
So you guys have been respectful of the traffic conditions, and the Crist supporters have not been.
Right. Now the media has also been disrespectful of the traffic patterns, but I can't help that. I do have to say that it has a lot to do with the very tiny sidewalk that they put Adrian on and the large amount of TV cameras that were around him.
I got you. So, let me ask you a question. I don't know how froggy you're feeling right now, and if you say no, I completely understand. Is it all possible to get any Charlie Crist supporter on the phone?
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah, we've kind of let them be in their little section over there. We're away from them in ours. They have been rude and disrespectful, but we don't engage in that kind of activity. So we're just letting them be the rude and disrespectful people they are in their own crowd.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Now, is Adrian still being interviewed?
No, he's actually not. Adrian is over near me, so he could actually talk to you guys live on air.
I would, if you don't mind, Danielle. I mean, I love talking to you, Danielle. You are a phenomenal human being. I love you. I would like to talk to Adrian too, though, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, I love you too. Here's Adrian.
This is Adrian.
Yes, Mr. Wiley, this is Alex Snicker with the Liberty Underground Show. We would like to ask you a couple questions if you had a couple minutes, sir.
Liberty Underground, I thought I said I would never do the show again.
Oh, you did? Okay. Well, the first thing is we wanted to find out, now, what position are you running for, sir?
That would be dog catcher.
Okay. So you felt that the Telemundo people should talk to you about your dog catching ability.
I can catch dogs like nobody's business.
All right. So, no. So, in all seriousness, though, how is the protest going?
It's going great. We're having a great time out here. They're doing a lot of media. We have been, I think Danielle was telling you a little bit about, we're starting to get overrun with Charlie Crist supporters now. Actually, probably I should say Charlie Crist paid campaign staffers. Yeah, what happened was when Charlie Crist went by, it was just a whole bunch of Wiley supporters out here waving signs, and as soon as we saw him go by, all of a sudden his supporters started coming out of the woodwork. So I think an emergency call went out, and they got a bunch of people here.
Have you seen Rick Scott yet, or the Skeletor vehicle that brings him in?
No, that's interesting. We have not seen Rick Scott. Have not seen any vehicle that could be easily identified as his. We did see Charlie Crist, but we believe that he may have entered the building covertly by some other method, secret tunnel or invisible jet.
Invisible jet. So now so are you live on the air now making a claim that Rick Scott has an invisible jet?
I'm saying it's a distinct possibility. With the fact that he has almost $500 million, I think he could probably afford to buy an invisible jet.
They are only like $39.95. I mean, it is very inexpensive. So how has the media been? How is the media treating you in the interviews that you did?
Did very well, actually. In all seriousness, the media has been phenomenal. Just given us a real opportunity to let people know why we're out here. Let people know, what the situation is with the exclusion from the debates, and just fighting the good fight out here.
Now, it sounds to me that might be the Rick Scott alien spacecraft that has gone overhead. Did you look up at the time to see if that was what that was?
I did not, because that was actually coming in my pocket. That is my alien cell phone ringtone.
Are you saying that Rick Scott is in your shirt pocket now, sir?
I thought Adrian walked into the pre-debate
This is
rave.
why I didn't agree to do this show ever again.
All right. So, anything else? Is there anything else that you want to say? Oh, can you tell people today, though, there's something else going on from 4 to 6 p.m. Do you care to share that, sir?
I would love to share that. We are having a statewide sign wave at locations pretty much everywhere. I bet, Alex, you could probably fill in the folks more on the locations. But, hey, this afternoon from 4 to 6, find the location near you. Go out to that intersection, wave signs. Let people know that they do have a third choice. They don't have to vote for the lesser evil this time.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you very much. We appreciate the time, Adrian. Now, I guess that the Charlie Crist supporters have been kind of rude to you. Is there anything specific that they have said to you personally?
No, they've stayed away from me, and I quite frankly, I've been tied up pretty much with nonstop media since I got here. So I didn't see the rudeness, but yeah, some of the gang here is saying, oh yeah, they were being kind of nasty. So I don't know what's going on. I'm sure I'll hear the whole story later.
Okay. All right, can you pass the phone back to Danielle, please?
Danielle is now actually on the other line, so I can maybe switch up with her. Let me see.
Well, hold on. No. Hold on a second then. Is there someone else around that is a Wiley supporter that we can talk to?
Absolutely. Let me give you to, how does Ron Rollins sound?
Give us Ron Rollins.
All right. Hang on just a second.
It's a rare treat that we get Ron Rollins,
Live on the air, 1787 Network. Oh, really? Yeah. Got it.
It's a rare treat for us today, folks. Ron
Hey,
Rollins.
Alex, it's Ron.
Ron Rollins, how are you doing, sir?
Good. We're out here supporting Adrian at the Telemundo rally.
We're
getting a lot of press coverage. A lot of folks out here. We're fighting the crowd now with the Crist crowd.
I got you.
But we're standing toe to toe with them.
Now, do you guys have the? Do you guys have like the? Do you guys got the elephant jackass signs on the furring strips with you?
We got the signs. Yeah, we've got those out. We've got a whole array of signs, different types. We got the yard signs. We got a couple handmade signs, and we got the "Don't vote for Chris" or Scott. Yeah, the jackass and elephant.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. How are you feeling today, Ron?
Pretty good. I think there's a lot of energy out here. Adrian is selling the deal to the press. The press is, I think they just love him. On an individual reporter standpoint, the press just embraces Adrian. Because he's so straightforward with his answers and a straight shooter, doesn't try to filter answers or anything like that. And I think they really appreciate that out of a candidate.
Yeah, no.
Especially when you contrast that with Scott, or Charlie Crist, who's just a smooth talker.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, people don't know this, and I'm going to embarrass Ron on the air, so I just want to make sure I let Ron know ahead of time. There are very few people in the state of Florida that work as hard as Ron Rollins does at promoting freedom and liberty throughout this state. And I just want to make sure that I take the time right now, live on the air, to say thank you, Ron. It is people like you that motivate me to do all the crap that we're doing. So thank you, Ron.
Yes, thank you,
Well,
Ron.
I appreciate that, Alex, because you guys motivate us, too. I mean, it's fun to be working for a candidate like Adrian and a campaign that you're also involved in, because you guys put in so many hours too, and are incredible with your efforts.
You know what, man? You keep the energy going. You definitely keep the energy going. Okay, now here's the thing, Ron. I know I'm getting passed around here a little bit. Can you pass me to somebody else that's there?
Oh yeah, we've got Michael Higgs here.
Give me Higgs. Yeah, give me Higgs.
Well, he's talking. He's debating with a Chris supporter right now.
Oh, okay.
Just hold the phone up so we can hear.
Put the phone near it. Put the phone near it, though.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
He's a Republican. She's a Democrat.
You going to be on air with Alex?
Oh, absolutely. How are you doing?
Oh, I want you to keep arguing. I love it, but I want you to keep arguing with the guy. Let's hear your side of it while you're arguing with him.
He already walked off.
Ah, damn!
I'm sorry. I should have picked it up. Well, it's just so obvious. We got two Republicans running. You cannot go up and give Bush a big wet smooch on the lips and say, "Hey, now I'm a Democrat." Not possible.
Exactly. Now, what was the argument coming from the Chris supporter?
It wasn't an argument at all. He actually was a nice one, surprisingly enough. His wife is running for, I can't see her truck, but it's, District 8, so she's running for a rep position. But he had a Charlie Crist sign in his hand, and he's now down with all the Charlie Crist supporters. There's unfortunately a few more than ours, but, Democrats are always able to pay people to come out and protest for them. We just don't have the money to buy our protesters. We have to do it for real.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta earn 'em.
Exactly. Gotta hurt them. How did you think the interviews went with Adrian and the media that was out there?
Very good. They were actually very receptive to him. They came up, and actually one of the cameramen asked for a personal selfie with Adrian.
Nice.
Now, how about that? You
Very
gotta love
nice.
that. When he just comes up, he sees all this and says, "You know what? I like this guy. I want a selfie with him."
That is
But
really.
they clamored around him. They were just asking him question after question. There's a documentary gal who's out here doing it's just a private, independent documentary. But she was out talking to Adrian for a while, so we're actually getting some pretty good support right now.
Yeah, no, and it's nice for a documentary one to be able to catalog some of the stuff that's going on with these things. So that's really, really good. All right, is Danielle got her? Is she still on the phone?
No, I have the phone. I'll come over and give it to her.
No. There were two phones at play, so we were trying to do that because we got to actually take a break. So I gotta end this thing so I can take a break real quick. So if you could give me the phone.
I have no idea who has the other phone, but I'll give this one back over to your cohort in crime.
Thank you very much, sir. Michael Higgs, by the way, folks. Michael Higgs.
Thank you, and thanks for all the supporters who listen to your radio every Friday. You guys are great.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Thank you.
that, man. This is a good time. I love being like doing the, listening to the protest ones. These are fun.
I want to apologize to our advertisers that we haven't taken a break and
Yes.
run your commercials.
It's
but
very
this is
hard,
too
though.
much fun.
It's too much fun.
Hey, guys.
All right, so we're going to have to take a break, but I wanted to get you back on the phone. Well, one, because I realized that I would catch immense amounts of crap if I didn't. And then, is there any parting words that you'd like to say?
I know. Listen, we're having a great time out here, and I think that this was a great day to protest for a great issue. And honestly, the media coverage that Adrian is getting is probably more news stations than the debate is actually going to air on.
Beautiful, beautiful thing. All right, well, stay safe out there. Don't get any trouble. It sounds like it was probably a good idea that I wasn't there.
Very much so.
That sucks because I wish I was there. I'd have been yelling at him. So it's a good thing. Stay safe, and we will see you later on tonight.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, folks. That's the first hour, folks. Boy, that's fun, isn't it? Though.
Oh, that was awesome.
Oh, I was catching the feel there. I was really looking to see if they could kind of get me in the feel, and if they would have just put that phone in front of Higgs and the other person, it would have been great.
Oh, yeah. Just put it on speaker, just hold it there kind of covertly.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would have been great. We probably would have get sued for something, but
Yeah.
that's all right. All right, so let's take a break. When we get back, I got some other news to talk about, so let's see about going down that road, and we'll be back after these messages. You're listening to Liberty Underground.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else. I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for Governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, going postal offers shipping with
and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back, Liberty Underground. Sorry, just causing a fire. If you want to call the program Tough Crap, you can't. Actually, the phones will be back in November. Until then, we're dedicating them to the Wiley campaign.
Yeah. In-kind donation.
Yes. However, I do want to make sure, we mentioned Adrian said this on the air, but I do want to make sure that I reiterate this as well, is that today, around the entire state of Florida, from 4 to 6 p.m. is the statewide sine wave. It is a combo statewide sine wave / protest. So what I want you to do is go to WileyForGovernor.com. I'll go to Facebook. Go to Wiley for Governor's Facebook page. Go into the events area, and you can see all the different areas. Now, we have them all over the state. So Alachua, Bay, Broward, Collier, Devon, Gambia, Hernando, Hillsborough, Lee, Leon, Manatee, Marion, a couple of ones in Marion, Miami-Dade, there's a couple in Miami-Dade, Orange County, Palm Beach County, there's 3 in Palm Beach County, Pasco's got 3, well, it's because I live in Pasco, Pinellas got 3, because Greg lives in Pinellas, Polk County, Sarasota County, Seminole County, St. Johns County, St. Lucie County, and Volusia County. Go out to one of these locations. You have to go out to one of these locations, folks, and the reason why is we want to show as many people as possible, so if you support Adrian Wiley, make it a point to go to one of the sign waves. You don't need to bring a sign with you. There'll be some out there for you. Trust me, we already delivered signs around the entire state of Florida, special signs for this. And if you're looking for a sign, you're like, oh, I need to get a sign from the campaign. Go out to one of these locations. There'll probably be a sign out there for you. So go out to one of these locations. Again, it's 4 to 6 p.m. It's going to be all over the state of Florida. So go out there and make sure that you let the people know that who you support for governor. It's a Friday afternoon. People are coming home from work. They're going to see you out there holding the sign. The more supporters we have out there, the bigger impact it is for the people that are going by. Everything okay on the sound, by the way?
Yeah, I'm trying to make sure that...
You're trying to make sure? Okay.
I'm trying to make sure that we're not overmodulated. And
oh, I got you.
So.
Okay, so at any rate, so that's what's going on there. Also let's go with the with the news here. There is other news that is out there, and we should be talking about the other news that is going on around the state of Florida, not just in this is funny. The mayor of Miami-Dade City says that benefits for domestic partners would promote adultery and fornication. Did you know that? Did you know that?
What? I don't even understand his logic behind that.
Here we go. Listen to this. Domestic partner benefits appeared to have stopped being contentious long ago in Miami-Dade County, where a slew of local governments have extended the perks to couples who live together but are not married. Then came Doral. City council members delayed a scheduled vote on the issue, and this is from the Miami Herald blog. City council members delayed a scheduled vote on the issue Wednesday night after a 3-hour discussion that involved Mayor Luigi Borga siding with conservative religious leaders who argued against the law. But some religious leaders fired back, citing Bible and begging the council not to pass an ordinance that would open the door non-traditional partners getting the same perks as married people. Mayor Luigi Borga said that this would promote illegal acts such as adultery, fornication, and lewd and lascivious acts. Emotions swirled. The councilwoman, Sandra Ruiz, crying in her chair. She shared with residents that her late father-in-law, who was a pastor, inspired her to love everyone regardless of their sexual orientation. The chambers were silent. Steve Alessi, pastor of Metro Life Church in Doral, told the council that giving domestic partnerships the same benefits as marriage would give homosexual couples an open door in Doral. I support moral values, godly values, Alessi said. Ruiz snatched a tissue. Vice Mayor Christy Fraga followed. This is amazing, by the way. And this goes into the point. Again, I don't think that there should be any benefits whether you're married or not married. Again, I don't want extra benefits for married people as opposed to not being married people. But if you're going to start giving benefits to people, then you can't necessarily be exclusive. You have to be inclusive. Equality under the law.
Mm-hmm.
One of the cornerstones of this country is equality under the law. Now, the problem that we're running into here is that the religious leaders are trying to use what they should be doing in their churches and applying it to government.
Mm-hmm.
And that is very much an incorrect way of looking at it. Again, I'm not telling people that you need to support. You don't have to like gay marriage. You don't have to like homosexuality. You don't have to like any of those things. If you think it's an abomination, whether I agree with you or not is inconsequential. You have the right to believe whatever you want to believe. What you don't have the right to do is to force your views on the rest of us.
Yep.
It's pretty simple. Now, if you want to stand in a corner and say gay people shouldn't get married, go ahead. You want to hold meetings. You want to run a commercial on TV. Whatever you want to do, you're allowed to do that. What you're not allowed to do, and what these people are wrong in doing, and this is why it's not Christian what they're doing, is that they're taking an issue, bringing up other things to try to distract you and to try to justify their bigotry and their hatred and their unchristian-like moves here. Because this is what he said. Mayor Luigi, and I'll report it again. Mayor Luigi Borga said that this would promote illegal acts such as adultery, fornication. Now, I don't even know when fornication became an illegal act, or even adultery for that matter, and lewd and lascivious acts. When is that illegal? I mean, look, you're not allowed to just drop trow in the middle of the street, but that's not going to cause this. The correlation there is so twisted, it ain't even funny.
Yeah. I mean, he should be voted out immediately for being such a ridiculously ignorant moron.
Yeah. No. Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it, by the way, Greg. A ridiculous moron. This is the problem, is that and we've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, that the Republicans have right now, and again, stay that way because you're getting more people into the LP, and I like that. But one of the biggest problems that the Republicans have right now is that they are taking an issue that should be part of the conversation that goes on as the public and putting it in the political realm. In the political realm, you're going to lose. At the end of the day, this is equality under the law. And if you're going to give it to one, you got to give it to the rest. Your failure to acknowledge this is the reason that you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are pastors and there are ministers in this country that actually do understand what I'm talking about now. J.C. Hall's being one of them. Again, he doesn't support the behavior, but he understands that the government doesn't play a role.
And you know what? There are pastors and churches who do take it a step further and say, you know what? You are a child of God as well. You have every right to marry the person you love as everyone else, and we will marry you in our church, and we will recognize your marriage.
Yeah, and if they want to do that, by all means they can. And if you think that you shouldn't go to that church because of the way that they're acting, by all means you should do that. People go to the places that they want to go to. Mm-hmm. I got no problem with that. Again, it's you need to take that argument out of the political realm and put it back into the societal realm where it belongs. Mm-hmm. It belongs in churches. If you want to have this conversation in a church, by all means, I will protect your right to do it. And if somebody tried to, and if a gay group tried to shut you down because of that, I would protest that person all day long from trying to shut you down. You should have the freedom to say what you want, but you don't have the freedom to force that view on everybody else. Voluntary associations.
You have the freedom to say what you want. you also have to pay the consequences of that freedom. And if you want to say ridiculous and ignorant things, then your freedom of speech also opens you up to our freedom of speech, which puts you in the path of public ridicule.
Yeah. Which is, you know, these other places that are suing people because they refuse to service, like if it was a gay couple and the cake people don't want to make a gay cake. Look, those people have the right to do that, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but just like those same gay people don't have the right to protest them.
Well, here's the thing. We talked about it before, the law in Arizona and what they were trying to do. And what I had a problem with is not that, you know, everyone painted it out as, well, you want to force the baker to make the person the cake. I don't want to force the baker to make the person the cake. What I don't want is for them to pass a law protecting them from being sued. If they tell a gay couple, I don't want to make your cake, and that gay couple wants to sue them for it, the gay couple has the right. They have the right to sue them. You can take your argument to the court if you want. And what those people wanted is special protection from law to be bigoted and protection for their views so they can do what they want without having to face any repercussions.
Yeah.
Which is what I disagree with.
Absolutely. Well, completely. And it's wrong for the both sides in many ways are in the wrong here.
Oh yeah.
That's the funny part, is that both sides are in the wrong, but the solution is something that both of them should be able to agree upon. The solution is one of those things. I don't understand why they don't do that, but the solution is there. If they would just take the time or have the common sense to actually go with it. This is where the libertarian thought and concept is applied correctly.
Mm-hmm.
It's where everybody can come to an agreement on. It's a compromise. Again, you know, they always say that, you know, libertarians are nothing but a bunch of uncompromising, principled people. You know what? In some aspects and in some ways, I'll go with that. I'll definitely go with that. However, in this issue, we are the compromise. And the reason is because we agree with conservatives that the government should not recognize gay marriage. I guess you can say it that way, right?
Yeah.
Because we believe that the government shouldn't recognize any marriage. However, if you're going to be so steadfast on having the government recognize regular marriage, then you're going to have equality under the law. Now, some people don't agree with that, but you know what? The thing is this. If we just got the government out of it and made everything contract law, it would work out so much better for everybody. Then you can say you can call whatever you want to. You know, it doesn't matter then at that point. Yeah. So that's where we're at, and that's what's going on down there. But to watch some of this things going on is just crazy. I really just can't believe that this is what we're dealing with. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of right now is we have the Amendment 2 fight that's going on in the state of Florida. Now, the Amendment 2 fight is another big fight that's going on, but this is another one of those ones where the other side is just telling lies at this point. Like, they're just lying about stuff. I don't even understand how they're even thinking that they're going to get away with this, because this is going to get passed. Whether they like it or not, it's going to get passed. And the Republicans are the ones that are going to take the hit for this.
Right.
You know, they're going to take the hit because Pam Bondi, you watch the debate. Now, we're going to get into the actual debate with Walsifer later on here. But you were at the debate. What was her stance on the marijuana thing? Like, what was the big deal here?
It's basic. Here's the thing, that debate went off basically like their commercials. She sat there for an hour and repeated her well-rehearsed talking points. And the same stance that she has taken in commercials and every other statement on Amendment 2, she took in that debate. And it's that if Amendment 2 passes, we're going to have pot shops on every corner and anybody will be able to buy it. And it's all about the kids, and we can't keep it away from the kids if we do that. So I'm against it, but if it passes, I'll support it.
Wow.
It's ridiculously moronic arguments that appeal to other morons. And luckily for the Democrats and the Republicans, there is a large swath of the population that are that way and will believe this nonsense and go right along with it.
Telling you what, man, just annoying.
They actually actively refuse to follow their own arguments through to their logical conclusion just so they can maintain a moronic ideological position.
Why? Like, I don't even understand it anymore. Like, do you want to fix the problem or not? And again,
no, they don't want to fix the problem.
Yeah, the problem here, one of the biggest problems here is kids can get marijuana right now. If you ask a middle schooler or a high schooler what would be easier, either an alcoholic beverage or marijuana, they tell you marijuana. You know why? Because it's illegal.
Mm-hmm. Well, the reality is that the people selling cigarettes and alcohol are behind a register asking for identification. The people who are selling marijuana are talking to your children on their way to school, at school, after school, at their social events, at the playground, at the skating rink, everywhere your kids are, that's where the marijuana is sold. So if you want to keep it out of kids' hands, put it behind a register, make them show ID. That is your best bet. As long as you demand that marijuana remain illegal and on the black market, you are demanding easy access for children. There is no other way for you to argue this. The moronic, idiotic, hateful lies that the Republicans are spreading about how this will make it easier for children to get it, they are playing on your stupidity, and you are stupid if you believe it. I have no qualms about saying that. If you believe that passing Amendment 2 is going to make it easier for children to get marijuana, you are a moron. You are stupid. It's that simple. And I will not apologize for saying that. If you don't like it, too bad. Read a book.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now,
all right, let me get Brandon.
Yeah, get Brandon on. When you get Brandon on, while you're getting Brandon on, I'm actually gonna mention something here. Have you drank Red Bull in the past 12 years?
I have a couple. I don't really like it.
You're not really a big Red Bull person.
Not a big Red Bull.
Well,
Red Bull
you
fan.
can claim a 10% cash refund now.
Yeah.
Because Red Bull was sued and they were forced to pay out $13 million. And here's why. Because Red Bull doesn't really give you wings.
Yeah. Well.
Oh my God. So, and this is from the Mail Online, from Daily UK paper.
Mm-hmm.
If you drank Red Bull in the last 12 years and you didn't automatically grow rings, then you'll be entitled to a small piece of a hefty settlement the company has agreed to pay for false advertising. But thanks to all the press the cash payouts have received, the check may be much smaller than originally anticipated. Energy drink Red Bull GmbH settled 2 class action lawsuits this week, agreeing to pay $13 million because their famous slogan, Red Bull gives you wings, isn't true. Are you kidding me, by the way?
No.
Is there anybody in their right mind that actually thought that Red Bull was going to give you wings? Like it's some kind of genetic code distortion drink that will automatically give you wings? Like, are you kidding me?
Brandon.
Yes.
Hey, Brandon. It's Greg and Alex, Liberty Underground Show.
How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, very blessed. How's everybody?
I'm doing pretty good. We were talking about this just before you got on the air, but I did want to ask you this question. Did you believe that Red Bull was going to give you wings?
You know, I had to contemplate that a lot, because of all the commercials, and I'm so easily influenced by the media that, for a while there, I thought there could be a chance those could be wings that are forming on my back, but I realized I was just getting fat.
I can't believe they had to settle this lawsuit, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I mean, really, I really, are you kidding me that they're going to have a lawsuit for this? But at any rate, I'm sure that's not on the Global Dispatch. You probably have much better news on the Global Dispatch than that. How are you doing, by the way? You're doing well, Brandon. So
Doing great.
And by the way, thank you very much, because having Bob last week was really, really good. I really enjoyed that. That interview, and I think we dispelled a lot of the even true that weren't true, and he was able to do a very good job of that. So please send him our thanks.
Oh, well, definitely. We can have him back anytime you like.
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I think in a couple weeks we might do it again, because I really do want to kind of go through the, where we're at and the Ebola issue from that point on, because I think there's a lot of things going on right now, and things take time. So I want to see what happens in order to bring him back on. So It was a very good one, though. But what's going on in the Global Dispatch world this week?
Well, obviously, I mean, Ebola is still in the headlines, and Bob's covering that very thoroughly. We've got a lot of ISIS activity, a lot of things still going on with Islamic State. Of course, gay marriage, the Supreme Court stuff happened this week, and then, of course, the latest scandal news with the Columbia prostitution issue that happened back in 2000. That's kind of our headline right now.
Let's go with the hookers first.
Yeah.
Hookers first. Okay, well, basically we have documented actually some great reporting done on the Washington Post. They deserve a lot of kudos for this. Unearthing a lot of the details and some actual testimony and confirmation that this went all the way to Catherine Rumler, who was the White House counsel at the time, and Michael Nealon was basically told, to bury information, bury interviews, bury different aspects of this till after the election. And that's pretty much what happened, and it's really kind of sad that the media just kind of ignores this. I mean, I know we have, serious things going on in Iraq and Syria and, of course, Ebola, but something like this really just goes to show how corrupt this administration is and what they went through to ensure that none of their scandals, this is just one of several scandals, didn't come out or really sort of get any legs prior to the 2012 election.
Now, this is not the first time that these guys have done this before an election, though, even before the 2012 election. Well, I guess, no, that was the 2012 election. I'm sorry, my bad. But it seems like the media is very much in the pocket of these guys in doing this, though.
Well, and you start to wonder why, even though this stuff has come out, other media agencies haven't really kind of, kept hammering this away. We've seen this with the way Benghazi was handled to the wayside. Of course, now you have, Hillary Clinton, who just, stands before Congress and just saying, it doesn't matter now. Then, of course, you have the IRS scandal, the AP phone tapping scandals, you have Fast and Furious, and we can just kind of keep going down a long list of things and shady behavior that if there was a Republican in office, this would be front page stuff. There would already been, hearings on impeachment. I don't have a doubt if this was a Bush administration or a Mitt Romney administration that we would already have had calls for impeachment.
Yeah. No. This is very one-sided, and it is unfortunate that it's going on. Now, give us the update on the. I know you do have some Ebola updates. So, the Ebola update this week. Have they put it in the ice cream yet?
As far as I know, it is not in the ice cream. We do have a lot of very contradictory and very concerning things that have come out. The CDC making their statement that it is possible that it could become airborne. Well, of course, anything is possible. So it's very frustrating that they kind of bend to that. They shouldn't really have answered the question, in my opinion, based on what we know scientifically. We know there's a strike now in New York with some of the large groups that have been trying to unionize for a while. They're claiming that the conditions are bad. They're afraid they're using this as a way to move towards unionizing and gaining more leverage in their negotiations. You're still seeing a lot of scare tactics in the press and the media. I mean, Bill O'Reilly had on an expert, one that Bob is very familiar with, and Bill barely let the guy speak. So what's the point of having experts on that are going to really tell you the public what's really going on and the details if you're not going to actually engage them? So it's been that kind of week, still that kind of hyperbole that keeps the headlines churning.
Yep. Now, you said also in the headlines for you for the Global Dispatch, judge overturns gay marriage ban in Nevada?
In Idaho, yeah, it is, obviously in the wake of the Supreme Court not hearing the appeals from the different states, the different states where they had, voters had already put in place a constitutional ban, that's a judge, they've ruled against that in some way, usually citing the First and the Fourth Amendment. So within days of the Supreme Court not hearing that appeal, now you have I predict you'll see a rash of this now in all of the states that had this been up in the air, including Florida. Florida's might take a little bit longer because it hadn't gone to the federal appeals level. So once it does that, it'll come right back, or they'll just go ahead and move accordingly.
What do you think is going to be the end result of these things?
That the bans will be struck down across the country. It brings up the exact point that I had brought up back. I've been in a debate with someone back in 2010 on this. You can't legalize it in one state and not another because the transfer of rights. You have a marriage license that we have a law in place that recognizes that across all 50 states. So you can't have things that are legal in one state and not another, and that's how this is kind of works. So it's kind of there's a lot of contradiction. As I've told you, part of the problem is we've got so many laws. We have 1,100 references to marriage in the federal tax law and all of that. We have just too much muddled mess, and that's what now we're running into where this will come to a head. And basically, the ban that states have voted or put in place is not going to hold.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you also have another story that's up there, and it's the Chuck Todd story, and I wanted to mention this one. So Chuck Todd is on the Morning Joe. Not a very good program, actually, when the times I have seen it. But Chuck Todd's on there. He says third-party candidate in Florida getting double digits on I-4 corridor, doesn't mention his name. So can you kind of give us a little bit of the story here as to what happened?
Yeah, Bob gave me a heads up on this, and I couldn't get to it in prep in time for this, but he posted it up there for us. Basically, Chuck overview on Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough about the midterm elections, using the term some weird things are happening. He talks about Charlie Crist versus Rick Scott, and then mentions a enigmatic third candidate, Adrian Wiley, so to speak, who is polling double digits across Central Florida, which we know is true, through Pinellas County out through Orlando. We know Central Florida, Adrian has easily been polling in double digits for quite a while now. He struggled in some of the other areas. So Chuck Todd making reference to the Wiley campaign, even if it was not as prominent as maybe one would like.
Well, no. What I think what happened here is, and I'm looking at the story. So let me just say what he said. Something weird is happening, said Todd. We're seeing a lot of third-party candidates, although they're not taking off like they are in other places. We're seeing them serve as a none of the above or a protest vote. The guy in Florida for governor, the third-party candidate, is getting double digits up and down the I-4 corridor. My question to you is this, and again, this is just your opinion, of course. Why the refusal to say his name?
Well, because then we have to acknowledge that he exists. Someone might actually Google that up. Someone might actually research it. You might have to have the NBC affiliates in Florida start to have to acknowledge and say, well, anyway, we should have this guy on. We need to include him in polls. If Chuck Todd is going to recognize him on our, the network's morning program, then, oh my gosh, there could actually be a third-party candidate. And we know that's not the case. We've discussed on your show many times why I believe that's not the case. And that's mostly because if Adrian doesn't have the money to go buy up a whole bunch of ad space on their television programs and in their newspapers, they're not really interested. And that's in addition to their already, in my opinion, the liberal bias that they already have.
Yeah, in addition. It really is amazing that these people, you think about what the news is supposed to be. And the news is supposed to be unbiased, just tell you the facts as it is, and then just go from there. They're nowhere near that at all.
No, not at all. And they have a track record of this when it comes to the third-party candidates. Obviously, we saw this in Virginia in 2010 was being the most, just the crazy. We literally have in that case, we had a poll that was done on Friday to show that he was at 9.7%, not at 10, the threshold to keep him out of a debate. So we've seen the track record of this. They do not want a third-party candidate. And when we go through history, we see this. Only Ross Perot is the one that we all talk about and we mention. Why? Because he had money personally to spend on their networks. He could buy ads in their newspaper. He could make a presence because he had the financial wherewithal to do so. Many of the independent third-party candidates, many of those that, it's interesting because in America, we talk about wanting people that are not bought and paid for. We want people that will go with integrity and do things. But when it comes time to include them, we don't stand up and fight for their inclusion.
Yeah, no, it's very funny that you're absolutely right. Somebody will tell you one of the biggest problems in politics is the money that's in it, but then use the money justification as to why you wouldn't support somebody that didn't have the money. It's like, which one do you want? Do you want the guy without the money, or do you just want Charlie Crist to say I'm not taking donations? You know what I mean? Like I just want Charlie Crist instead. I just don't want him to take donations from special interest group, or I'll only focus on the special interest groups that are funding the competition and focus all of my time on that and say that's the problem as you're getting the billions from the other people.
Well, and it's so polarized and people are so aggressive. I'm not asking for any. I'm not crying any tears here, but I was called to the carpet because when I covered the exclusion from the debate, the recent poll numbers for Adrian, and how Charlie Crist and Rick Scott were in basically a proverbial tie. I referred to Charlie Crist as the former Republican governor who was now running as a Democrat because I put that qualifier in the front. That's why the person was chastising me.
Because you said he was used to be so you took. though. You actually gave more information.
Well, it doesn't matter. Evidently, we should only focus on the fact that one is a Republican and one is a Democrat. We shouldn't point out that the one was the former the current Republican governor and the former Republican governor, who's now running as a Democrat, are running against each other. But evidently, that's not how they want their media, because I was chastised as well. So that's where we are, folks.
Yeah, that's what's going on there, and it's really sad though that you would think. Now, and there's the Florida Press Association, which is the one that's doing the October 15th debate. I wanted to get your take on this too, Brandon. These guys really do feel like they're going way out of their way to try to make sure that Adrian's not included in this debate. Not only is that going to be the case, but there's some stuff that's going to come out. I actually have in my hands a copy paper that the Florida Press Association gave to the students that are going to the debate. And without getting into all the details, because this is going to be something that is going to be in the legal challenge, it includes talking points for the students. My question to you is, can any press organization ever consider themselves as as legitimate press if they're giving the audience of a debate they're hosting talking points?
Well, of course not. Obviously, there could be an argument made that you would want to try to, screen and organize people that are going to ask questions, so you don't have somebody just standing up and ranting and raving and screaming profanities or whatever. But to actually hand out talking points and to hand out something that would guide their thought processes and can manipulate anything from an objective impression just shows how biased it is. I mean, let's face it, you can't have a debate, well, let's go back to like presidential debates. You can't have a presidential debate without having a moderator from one of their companies. They won't pick an outside group, an outside person, anyone outside of their control to moderate. So everything about it is a stage presentation, allow for an unbiased presentation, because they're not going to give you an unbiased presentation no matter what they do. And we've seen this just for years, for decades now.
Yeah. No. And it's getting more and more out in the open, I think, and more people are willing to say something about it. And because of social media, because of the internet, we're able to disseminate this information a lot better. It's unfortunate that the media has chosen to go down the road that they've chosen. But it looks like that the establishment media is all in with the establishment itself, and they are not trying to do anything to rock the boat on this stuff. And not only are they not trying to rock the boat, they are willing accomplices to try to, diminish actual freedom of speech.
Well, I would say that the entire reason that Chuck Todd even said that is because Adrian is polling so high that they cannot just discount the numbers that are missing. When they show where Rick Scott is polling and where Charlie Crist is polling, people are going, where there's a big percentage missing there, where's that percentage going? They have to acknowledge it, but they refuse to say his name.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, actually, I will bet that Chuck Todd will be told in his next interview, or he will be prepped accordingly, that we will not go down the topic of third-party candidates.
Yeah, he's going to be told. Just like
that's correct.
Yeah,
he'll be corrected. He'll be corrected by his handlers and his bosses to ensure that when he is interviewed next time, he will not go down that topic, that area. He will adjust his analysis accordingly.
Well, and even Chuck Todd was not trying to necessarily do Adrian a favor, because what if you listen to what he actually said, which I do find I like to analyze this part. So what he's saying is something weird is happening. You're using the word weird for a reason, because you want the third party candidates to look like they're weird, because you don't want to acknowledge that they may be getting votes because they're not weird, because they're actually good.
Not only that the third-party candidates are weird, but the people who support third-party candidates are weird.
Yeah. And he's talking, and to dismiss it a little bit, like he's seeing it as a none of the above vote or a protest vote, and not that these people are actually voting for this person for legitimate reasons. He has to dismiss even the reason why they're getting votes.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what we've seen. We saw with the way the Tea Party was handled initially, and then of course that was kind of co-opted. But we see this all the time when it's not the mainstream party candidates. We see it in primaries a lot. They will be dismissed. They will be marginalized. They'll be, branded. Anything that can set them outside of what they do.
Yep. Oh no, it's very much so, and it's disappointing actually that the that what the job and the role of the media should be in order to keep honesty in this country is so far lacking that it's very sad actually. But
yeah, that's kind of where we knew we were headed, and now we're kind of knee deep in it, and it's a little hard to handle sometimes.
Yeah, no, it is. No, you're absolutely right. Now, the last thing on the Global Dispatch, I don't think you have an article up about it right this very second, but Walking Dead is coming back. We'll be back, I think, just a couple weeks, right?
No, actually, we will be back on Sunday.
This Sunday?
Yeah, good thing you asked, because you would have
good
missed
thing
it.
I asked, by the way. You're damn right. Good thing I did ask. So this Sunday's the first Walking Dead. Well, I'm kind of looking forward to that then. All right. You know what's so...
And the most recent news is it's already been picked up for a 6th season.
So not only... So there's going to be this season and another season no matter what.
Well, the prediction is the creators, if you want to go back through all the interviews and all the analysis, they're predicting that the plan is a 10-year plan, that they will go to a 10th season. So I don't know how well this will hold together. I can't foresee any shaking in the ratings yet. They've already started a second Walking Dead type series. It's a spin-off series. We don't know much about it other than just there's new characters. So, it's definitely a franchise that AMC needs to do well. We'll have to cling to for a while because Breaking Bad ended. Mad Men is in its final season, so they're definitely searching and trying some different things on the side. So they will definitely do everything they can to keep Walking Dead going while they try to gin up another big show to pull ratings. I'm very curious to see how they're going to end this one, though. Well, I don't know that we have an end because the comic book that it's based on is still going very, very strong, of course. So there's really no end in sight. So to actually see a buttoned up, closed up finale, I'm not sure that we're going to have any sign of what that will look like yet. Yeah. Well, yeah, and a lot of different moving parts here too. So it's going to be a good time. All right, Brandon. Well, his name is Brandon. The website is theGlobalDispatch.com. Once again, Brandon, you always add a level of legitimacy to the show that we appreciate very much, and we'll talk to you next week, man. Thanks for having me, guys. Talk hard. Talk hard. We missed Talk Hard last week too. That was very good. Yeah. Oh, wow. A lot going on there. I always love talking to Brandon, too, by the way, because he always does offer a different perspective. And not always one that's, totally in agreement. Right. And if anybody has been objective for the gubernatorial race, it's been Brandon. Right. Brandon tell you like it is. Not necessarily, he likes Adrian. He supports him. But when he comes on and does punditry on it, he goes down a very fair road. I got to give him credit for that. But even in that, though, he's looking at it like, what do this? Mm-hmm.
Well, Brandon is the kind of guy who has that kind of original journalistic integrity, that journalistic integrity that was found many years ago, back when the First Amendment was written, when this was an industry that was protected by the Constitution. Because journalists had integrity. They felt an obligation to report the whole story, to give every side of it, and to not exclude anybody for any one side's particular gain. It died quickly, but there are still people out there who have that integrity, and Brandon's definitely one of them. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention before we get to the top of the hour break. Did you hear about the La Raza poll? Basically, it was a La Raza poll in the Hispanic community, and that Crist holds a 53 to 29% lead over Rick Scott. 53 to 29? Yeah, 53 to 29. So you add those two things together, and what does that come to? The exact reason why Chuck Todd had to mention the third-party candidate. 82. 82. That's the problem. It went to 82. Now, here's the thing. Adrian's name is nowhere in the article, and they don't tell you the other.
Like, they don't even tell you where the other percentages went.
Well, here's the thing. They may not have even included Adrian's name in the poll, and that's fine. And I'm not even going to say that 18% is automatically in support of Adrian, but clearly 18% are saying we want nothing to do with these two grotesque dirtbags.
Yeah. Yeah. The survey did not include Libertarian Adrian Wiley.
There you go.
I got to tell you, I'm so disappointed in the places like Telemundo. I'm so disappointed. Like, it's amazing that you guys are so willing to be just Democrat accomplices. You know, because we know you're not in it with the Republicans. I mean, we just know that. But you are hiding any other choice other than the Democrats from your community. You are literally doing all you can to hide any other choice. How, like, you people should be ashamed of yourselves. You really should be. You should be totally ashamed of yourselves because the Democrats have not done anything good for you. They've done nothing for you. They've kept your people in the shadows in this country. And they've placated to you. Like, unbelievable, by the way. Really, unbelievable. But, you know.
Yeah. I have witnessed the most vile things from Democrats. As far as what the beliefs and policies are, I disagree with Republicans more than Democrats. But as far as their personal behavior and the things they say and the way they behave, I disagree with Democrats and just find them despicable far more. And yesterday I was involved in this conversation. I had commented on a news article, and it just, reading the comments, it just amazed me how many people who are dyed-in-the-wool lefty Democrats who are just making every excuse in the book to resolve that cognitive dissonance for supporting Charlie Crist.
Yep.
And they're giving excuses that they would not accept in a million years if it was coming out of the mouth of a Republican.
Oh, yeah. Well, think about it like this. It was the same cognitive dissonance that the Republicans used to support Mitt Romney because it was a blinding hatred of Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't get me wrong. Tons of reason to hate on Obama. I'll give you all those reasons in the world. Same reasons you'd hate Crist. Same reasons you'd hate Scott.
Mm-hmm.
No difference. The fact that they're willing to go, well, he's on our team now, so it's all good. This ain't the Gators. It ain't Steve Spurrier.
And that's actually what the article was about, was how Charlie Crist is being called out as a flip-flopper. And the Democrats are just totally falling in line with, well, that just means that he's changed his mind and now he's for the people and he's now thinking the right way and he supports the people and he's going to do the right thing. And it's, are you kidding me? Are you serious?
What the hell? I mean, really, like, again, it only goes to show you the hypocrisy. Is that this does represent a very small portion of the population.
No. It represents the majority of the population. You can't look at the situation we're in, the people that we have in government, and honestly say this represents a small portion of the population.
Half of them don't vote.
You're absolutely right. Half of them don't vote, and even though they don't, we're going to spew that kind of nonsense.
Oh, you think so? Okay.
Yeah, and even worse, they are so far detached that they don't even have a clue as to what we're talking about.
Okay. All right. I'll have to go with that. So, I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I'm sorry. You're right.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. You're right. I won't say it again. Now, I will. One of the things, some of the people out there that are media guys that I think are actually pretty good is guys like Noah Pransky.
Oh, yeah.
Noah's good people. Ben
love
Swan,
love
good
Noah.
people.
Love Noah Pransky. Love Mike Deason.
Yeah. You know what? He really does go out there and get a lot of stuff. So I got to give him credit on that one. But there's just too many of them out there that really just suck, though. Really, they just suck so bad.
Out loud.
Yeah, they suck out loud. That's for damn sure they do. All right, now, hour number 2 is coming to an end. Hour number 3 is coming up. Don't forget, though, we have the sine wave 4 to 6 p.m. around the state of Florida for Adrian Wiley, the Libertarian candidate for governor. So make sure that you have an opportunity to go to wileyforgovernor.com and you can go and one of the locations nearest you. You don't necessarily need a sign to go into it, but you just show up. We'll have some signs there for you and come out and support Adrian in this campaign, man. We got to make sure that you get it done. But we'll take a break real quick. We'll get into the third hour. You're listening to Liberty Underground.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else.
I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for Governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
I believe in peace, but I won't be
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, along with me, the Prime Minister of the Sinister, Greg Bowen. How are you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
We're doing well. We're doing it. Hopefully everybody in town is doing pretty good. Busy show this week. Got a lot to get through. First thing we wanted to mention, though, is this. I know that a lot of people listening to the program definitely understand where we're at when it comes to the governor's race, which is Adrian Wiley. Wanted to let you know that he was down there this morning protesting the Telemundo exclusion. But today, from 4 to 6 p.m., around the entire state of Florida, including locations in the listening area. Matter of fact, let me make sure I give the locations in the listening area.
Well, let me give this location. I'm going to be hosting the sign waving at the corner of Gulf to Bay and Belcher. That's 60 and Belcher in Clearwater. So if you're in the North Pinellas County area, you want to come out and show your support for Adrian and take part in one of the local sign wavings, I will be out at Gulf to Bay and Belcher today.
All right, Gulf to Bay and Belcher, right?
Yes.
In Clearwater.
Yes.
All right, so Gulf to Bay and Belcher in Clearwater. If you live in the Clearwater area, go there. Make sure you go to that, centralize up in that location. Let me give you the rest of them in the immediate listening area. But that's where Greg's going to be. So if you want to meet Greg, that's where to go for Greg, because Greg's a good guy, and you want to make sure that that Greg is well supported. He's going to have signs for you, so you don't even need to bring a sign with you.
No, don't bring. You don't have to bring a sign. If you have one, you can. You don't have to, though. I'm going to have signs. Probably want to bring a hat, some comfortable shoes, but that's really it.
Now, you want to wear the comfortable shoes, though. Don't them on your feet.
Yes.
Okay.
Wear the shoes on your feet and the hat on your head.
Yes. Wear the shoes on your feet and the hat on your head. Now, in Pinellas County, there's 3 locations. So Greg Bowen's going to be Gulf to Bay and Belcher. We have US 19 and Tarpon Avenue in Tarpon Springs, and 38th Avenue and 4th Street in St. Pete. So those are the 3 locations in Pinellas. If you're in Pasco, intersection of 54 and 56, that's in Wesley Chapel. Intersection of 54 and Little Road, and intersection of 54 and US 19. And I will be at the intersection of 54 and Little Road, and I will spend a little bit of time at the intersection of 54 and US making my rounds. So I'm going to do a little bit of time at one, a little bit of time at the other. Spread myself out a little bit. A little bitty spreading out there. So I'm going to be doing those 2 areas right there. So please, if you live in Pasco, come out to those areas. But if you live in Pinellas, stay in Pinellas. Don't come to Pasco, and go to Greg, Gulf to Bay and Belcher. On the show this week, we're going to talk about something very historic happened this week, and what had happened is that Bill Wolsifer, the Libertarian candidate for Attorney General, was invited to the Bay News 9 debate that was hosted by Bright House. And it was Al Rochelle and who was the woman's name?
Name Al Rochelle and Adam Smith, and I'm sorry, I do forget the lady's name that was one of the moderators along with them.
Yeah, I do apologize for her. And then you had Pam Bondi, the current AG, George Sheldon, the guy that just gave up as being Attorney General, and Bill Wolsifer, the Libertarian candidate for Attorney General. Well, we'll say shoes. Just first and foremost, I like the brown shoes. Definitely the best looking guy up there was Bill Wolsifer by far. Well, I don't know. Al Rochelle was up there, and he's pretty good looking though. I got to give Al Rochelle credit on that one. Now you watched the debate though, Greg.
I did.
I was actually at another place where I couldn't watch it. Can you give me the overall and then give me some of the highlights?
The overall, Pam Bondi sounded very rehearsed. If you have seen her commercials or seen her speak anywhere else in regards to the campaign, then you've seen the gist of what she said on there. Pretty much the same with Donald Sheldon. Bill Wolsifer was the only one who really came across like he was not spewing memorize talking points, and as if he seemed to know what he was talking about legislatively, and as well as understanding what the people really want. Now, as far as the highlights for me, the highlight of the debate, although it was really a low light, but it's the moment that stands out the most, is when Pam Bondi said that she used to keep pictures of dead babies on the wall of her office to inspire her.
What?
And I was very disturbed by that. Extremely disturbed.
Hold on. To inspire her to do what?
Well, remember, she's a prosecutor. You know, she is very much envisioning herself as a sort of crusader for righteousness. And apparently pictures of dead babies on the walls of her office is what she used to use to keep herself motivated to do the right thing. Because without that, she would have no realistic sense of right and wrong or whatever. I guess.
My gosh.
I mean,
that is kind of scary.
It was really disturbing when she said that. I mean, the hair on my neck literally stood up, and I didn't know how to react to that. And we all just kind of looked at each other dumbfounded.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, by the way. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
She should have a picture of Rick Scott up there to motivate her to go after him.
Well, you know.
Now, in the debate.
Apparently, dead baby crime is the only kind of crime she cares about.
I got you. Now, in the debate, Sheldon went after Rick Scott, and Pam Bondi defended Rick Scott. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, what was Pam Bondi's justification for her, support of Rick Scott in any kind of the stuff that George Sheldon was bringing up?
Again, that's really the same kind of thing as what I was saying. It's just the talking points that they continue to repeat. And because of her handling it that way, it's not like she really responded as directly to him as you would think. But she's in full support. She thinks that Rick Scott and herself and this entire legislature is in full compliance with the law, that no one's doing anything wrong. They're all doing a bang-up job. And basically that the Democrats, this is just smear campaigns. And whether or not he actually broke the law is irrelevant. The Democrats and everyone else is just trying to smear his good name, essentially.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
One of the other things that I wanted to point out from Pam Bondi, that she talked about how she's very proud of this, and this is basically in response to the what do you think is your greatest accomplishment in your career. And she talked about how proud she was to be a part of and actually one of the leaders of the committee that ultimately went after the banking and mortgage companies for the meltdown and held them accountable.
Nobody went to jail, though.
Well, that's what's disgusting about it, is because the totality of the fines from all these banks amounts to a little under 50% of the ill-gotten gains that they received through this meltdown. It's estimated that they earned approximately $30 billion in ill-gotten gains through all this. Their fines that Pam Bondi is so proud of amounts to about $15 billion in total, which means that half of the money that they stole from the American people they get to keep, and no one goes to jail. And she's exceptionally proud of that result, which makes me just want to curb stomp her.
Curb stomp. Wow. Curb stomp. That's a boy. How very American history excellent. Curb stomp, boy. That's a good time.
That issue really angers me, and it angers me that her and the other attorneys general across the country are proud of that result.
Yeah,
because they are complicit in the robbing of the American people, and are proud of the fact that they did it, and it's disgusting to me.
Let me break it down for you in a different way, just to make sure, see if I'm on the right page here. I go to Greg's house, I steal $1,000. My penalty is I got to give $500 of it back, and I don't get any jail time.
No, you give $500 of it back to the government. The government is going to dole out to me what they think I should get back.
Which is probably about nothing.
Yeah, I'll probably get a few bucks, which is essentially how this is going down.
You get 50. You get $1.50. You get $3.50.
Yeah.
Let me get $3.50.
And I'll probably have to pay taxes on that. It'll count as income. And
It'll
I'll have
count
to
as
pay
income.
taxes.
You got to pay taxes on that. Yeah, that is really, really sick. So, but overall, do you now? Again, I know that you have a bias because you support Bill Wolsifer.
Yeah.
But if you could take the bias hat off for a second and put on the punditry hat, who won?
Well, I think probably to the mainstream audience, Pam Bondi won. Myself, I think Bill Wolsifer won.
You think Wolsifer won? Do you think there's people that were watching it though that really were like, "Wow, Bill did really well"? Like, I got to look this guy up.
Yeah,
Did he impress?
I do think that he did. Again, across as if he knew what he was talking about and wasn't spewing rehearsed talking. So I think that reflected well upon him, and that's why I think that a lot of people probably thought that he won.
So let me ask it this way: who came off as the most natural?
Oh, definitely Bill.
And who do you think came off as the most believable?
Well, again, for me, definitely Bill. I would say Sheldon would be the only one to compete with him on that, because Bondi's stuff did come off so rehearsed and so contrite, and it is the exact same things that you're hearing in her commercials and in her interviews. So that's why it's got to be between Donald and Bill.
I got you.
As far as that goes.
I got you. Now, I will say this, though. Who came off as the most attractive?
Well, I mean, I thoroughly believe that that's a big part of why she was chosen by the Republicans for that role.
Wasn't because of her skills.
No, I'm not saying that she doesn't have skills, but she's a pretty lady.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good-looking woman. No one can deny that.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's fine if... understanding that people have different ideas of what beauty is, but she's.
That was just a dumb question anyway. I was just doing a dumb question at that point. Now I guess, but you think Bill did well for himself, though, right?
I do. I do.
You think it's going to up his percentage of the vote when it comes time for election?
Yes.
Cool. No, good. And, very happy that Bay News 9 actually included Bill in this. There was not really any fighting to get Bill into this thing. Fortunately for Bill and for his campaign, there was very little fighting that had to do with it, and I'm very happy to hear that this is the result of that. There's only one debate, by the way, for the AG race, and that was it. There's nothing else.
There's nothing else for the AG race. It's not a very popular race. It's not something that a lot of people pay attention to.
Pardon the pun, it's not very sexy.
Yeah, and it's really sad because it is one of the most important officials in the state. I would say probably the most important, with only the governor challenging that position.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, because of the way the Florida Constitution is written and some of the powers given to the Attorney General is more powerful than the governor. And that's why, in my opinion, personally, I think the Attorney General election is the most important and more important than the governor. But I can also understand how a lot of people don't see it that way.
Yeah. No, I got you. Now, in candidate news, that is not the only piece of candidate news. Now, so let's go into the Jolly thing right now. So give me the Jolly thing, and then I want to move into the Janey thing.
Well,
Jolly then Janey. It's the double J section.
Well, in regards to the CD13 race, David Jolly is the incumbent, and the incumbent has an advantage. The incumbent advantage that other people in the races don't have, and that is that they have a platform to speak on issues and draw attention to themselves as the sitting congressman or the whatever office they're in, that it trumps any equal time laws or anything. So Jolly gets airtime by simply talking about issues as a congressman. And with the Ebola scare that we have going on, he came out this week and said that we should completely bar travel from West Africa into the United States until Ebola is under control. And he's not the only politician coming out and saying it. And really, every one of them that is saying this is looking like an idiot. Because we have approximately 150 to 250 people per year traveling from West Africa to the United States. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Most of it is aid workers, and he said aid workers are the only ones that we should exempt from that. So direct travel from West Africa to the United States is not that large. However, direct travel from West Africa to all sorts of points in Europe is much greater. And direct travel from Europe to the United States is also much greater. And if he thinks that by banning people from traveling from West Africa to the United States is going to control keeping Ebola from getting to the United States, he is just showing how he lacks the ability to see the bigger picture of things. Because more people are going to travel from West Africa to Europe and then from Europe to the United States than they are directly from West Africa to the United States. That's just the way that it happens.
Yeah.
And so if you want to prevent people from coming to the United States who could potentially be infected with Ebola, you almost have to ban travel across the board, certainly more than just West Africa. You're going to have to stop people from coming in from Europe as well.
Now, I have some questions for you about this one because you brought it up earlier, and I didn't want to get into a debate with you about this because I wanted to wait to save it for the air. Because I thought this would actually be a really good debate. When it comes to something like this, when it comes to something that is a disease or a virus that can spread rather quickly, and that can spread, there's a high mortality rate. A lot of people die because of it. A lot of people in Africa are going to die because of Ebola. As the government, as the United States government, and that one of the constitutional roles of the government is to protect the citizenry, what steps do you think that the U.S. government should take to protect the country from Ebola? Or do you reject the premise of the argument altogether? Because I will accept, I mean, again, I'll accept whatever you're going to say, Greg. But do you see a role or do you not see a role? I guess that would be the first thing.
Oh, I absolutely do see a role. I'm not an anarchist libertarian. I think we've established that by this point, but I'm not an anarchist libertarian. I do feel that there are roles for the government, and I do think that this is one of them. But I don't necessarily think that banning travel from West Africa is going to solve the problem or have the effect that they're looking at. And I don't know that I necessarily have the answer to this either. I'm not an infectious disease expert by any means.
That's funny, but pardon the pun. I'm sorry.
But I do think that the government has a role. I do think that the idea of screening passengers coming from West Africa is a good idea, and we should probably expand that to people coming from Europe as well, because of the people who travel from West Africa to Europe and then to the United States. So some screening will probably need to be instated, definitely for people coming from West Africa, certainly from maybe the people in Europe. Maybe the European governments need to institute this as well.
Which I think they have.
Yeah, to kind of keep it from spreading. Now, I do think that the government has a role in this, and I do think that, I mean, because this is a protection of the people kind of issue. If you believe that fire departments and police departments are a good idea, then I think that this is naturally a part of that as well.
Okay. And I agree with you, by the way.
Okay. Again, I don't know that I have the answer on this. I can't lay out a plan here as to how we can stop Ebola, but I do think that the government has a role in it. But I do also think that there is a big gap that can be filled by private companies. And, you know, just like with any other disaster, the Red Cross always does better than the U.S. government does when it comes to relief efforts and supporting the people who need help. And I think that the Red Cross should be tapped and used for this as well.
Let me ask you another question here. This is a very interesting subject, and it does bring up a lot of... You have to take libertarian philosophical viewpoints and you have to apply them to a real-world situation, and I always think this is a good way to do it. In Africa right now, the countries that are not infected with the Ebolas, those countries that border the states, the countries that are affected, are shutting their borders down. So much so, I mean, like they're putting armed guards up and machine gun turrets and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that that is an overreaction, or do you think that that's what those governments should be doing? And again, I know that we're kind of dealing with a real world scenario, but we also are dealing with a little bit of a hypothetical when it comes to this as well. So I know I'm asking you kind of a weird question here, but do you think that those countries are in the right to stop any travel from the infected country to the non-infected country?
Understanding what their situation is, I understand that that's the best that they have.
Okay.
That's the best option that they have, because they are crippled in a lot of ways as far as infrastructure and the ability to respond, and that's why this is a problem. I want to make clear right now that I will go on record saying that this is being trumped up to something much greater than it really is. This is being blown way out of proportion in the media, and a lot of people are freaking out here in the United States because of that, and it's exactly the response that I think a lot of people in our government and in the media want. That over 500,000 people in Africa die every year from malaria. I think we've had 8,000 deaths total from Ebola since '76. So let's compare the reality of what we're dealing with. This is not nearly as bad as they would have you think. Now, this virus is nothing to joke about. If you contract it, this is a serious thing. Part of the reason it is a problem in Africa is because they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have a healthcare system of any kind. And most of it is because of corruption in government. Because the United States government, Red Cross, and other private organizations have done a lot to help these nations. But sitting on docks are crates full of medical supplies in Sierra Leone and Liberia that have been sitting there for months going nowhere because the government is corrupt. The government does not have the best
African government.
The African governments of these nations in Sierra Leone and Liberia. Remember, these are countries that are ruled by warlords. These are countries, you want to talk pay-for-play politics, there is no greater example than Africa. It's totally pay-for-play. Power goes to the highest bidder or who has the biggest gun. And it is literally warlords in control in these countries. They don't care about their people. They literally do not care about their people.
Look, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I just find it funny that you call African countries pay to play, and I don't even know why it's funny. Just was funny. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's a lot cheaper to play there too. A lot cheaper to play in Africa than it is
Well,
here.
I think that the risks are a lot greater, too, because you don't pay the right, you might lose a hand or a head.
Yeah.
You know, they're not above just chopping you.
Exactly.
On that one.
And who knows, in a month, all of what you've paid is lost when another warlord takes over.
Yeah, or you got the Ebolas.
Yeah.
So I know.
Ebola is a disease that in a country or a place with infrastructure and a good healthcare system can be kept under control.
Yeah.
Control there because of a lot of failings. So it is going to be a lot worse there than it will be here. And it's going to continue to get worse there because of the issues that they have. But the risk of it spreading worldwide and becoming a major issue here in the United States, I don't think it's as great as they're blowing it out to be.
Okay. Let's bring all this all the way back to the original reason that you brought this up. And that was David Jolly's stance on this. Why do you think that Jolly put this out?
Political expediency. This is the topic of the day. So he wanted to chime in and get a piece of that media. The media is pretty much strictly talking about only Ebola. So if you want to get your face into the media right now, you
ride the
better
media
have,
wave per se. Ride the media wave per se.
Yeah. Yeah, so I really think that that's what it is. He's certainly not offering an original thought here.
Well, I don't think the guy has one. But
no, I don't think he's capable of one. But, I mean, the fact is he is not offering an original thought in just banning travel from West Africa. Other legislators and politicians came out and said it before him. And other people are coming up with better ideas. And other people, are like myself, are pointing out the flaws in this, that we cannot control this ourselves. Now, what I think is the more interesting piece of that is you've heard me for years, not only personally and off the air, but on the air, predicting the timeline of war and where we're going. This now puts boots on the ground in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have over 3,000 troops on the ground in Africa. And taking troops to the ground in Africa is a completely different situation from what we are used to. Because, again, Africa is a pay-to-play continent. And there are a lot of governments there who are friendly or completely indifferent to forces that are against the United States. So just a quick example, ISIS fighters, knowing that there are boots on the ground in Africa, could be where the troops are in a matter of days traveling through Africa with the support or apathy of the leaders of these African nations between where they are now and where our troops are. And those ISIS fighters can then attack our troops who are there on a humanitarian mission. And next thing you know, we're at war in Africa.
Yeah, very true. Very, very true. Very true.
I am predicting right now that while our troops are in Africa, there is going to be an attack or some sort of an event that is used to escalate military involvement in Africa and will entrench us there for a long time.
Yeah. Yep, you might be right, man. You very well could be right there. All right, and bringing it back, though, Jolly did this. I hate to bring it back again, but let me bring it back again. Jolly did it for political. Doesn't really give a crap anyway. And the other something very exciting that happened in the District 13 race that includes just Lucas Overby and David Jolly. So you got a Libertarian against a Republican. That's it in the race. But let's take a break. When we get back, we'll tell you the other exciting thing that happened and what happened in the Overby Jolly race that may be a big boost and a game changer for Lucas. You listen to Liberty Underground.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else.
I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for Governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Or at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground. The website, 1787network.com, 1787network.com. All right, well, we teased it a little bit before the break. Something new happened in the Florida election. You know the election, it's Lucas Overby against David Jolly. Now, there was a third person for a very brief, limited period of time that was in the debate, and that was a person by the name of Ed Janey. Eduardo Janey, I think, is the official
That's
name.
his full name.
His
But
full
he goes by Ed.
He goes by Ed, but it's Eduardo Janey. Now, he was a guy that was a Republican, switched over to the Democrats, and was going to run as a Democrat in that district against Jolly, but couldn't run because of the 365-day rule, and so he was running MPA. Then he decided that he got out of the race. Some stuff came out, and then he decided he just wasn't going to be able to commit the time to it, so he got out of the race. He just came out now and is now endorsing and supporting Lucas Overby in this election. Now, for all intents and purposes, this guy was going to be the Democrat nominee or the Democrat candidate for this office.
Right. This is the guy that was being wooed by the Democrats. They did try to get him on as a Democrat. They were stymied by the Charlie Crist law, and because he had not changed his registration from Republican to Democrat in time to run as a Democrat. So they still talked him into getting onto the ballot, and so he is on as an independent. Interesting story behind this. He realized that he was part of the security detail for World Cup in Brazil.
Yeah.
Which is why he was unable to do it. He realized that he has this previous obligation. He's not going to be able to campaign. He's not going to be able to do this properly. And so out of respect for CD13, he pulled out of the race. Now, he is still going to appear on the ballot because of, I don't know whether it's his team, whether it's the Democrats who messed this up, but they did not get him withdrawn in time. So his name is going to be on the ballot, but he is not a candidate. But he is coming out and has publicly endorsed Lucas Overby. So if you were thinking about voting for Ed Janey in this election, his name is still going to be on the ballot, but understand that Ed Janey wants you to vote for Lucas Overby.
Yep, exactly. No, you're exactly right. Now, again, you live down there. I don't live down there. So I'm going to ask you this question. What is the effect? What do you think the effect is on this?
It's difficult to tell because we're just a couple days out from this endorsement. The press is avoiding it with everything they have. Interestingly enough, the Pinellas SOE put out a press release. Supervisor of Elections put out a press release regarding the issue with his name being on the ballot. Press completely ignored it. So now the Overby campaign has received Ed's Ed Janey's public endorsement. The press is also ignoring that. It is in David Jolly and the president's best interest to keep this race out of the media and out of the public eye as much as possible, because Jolly is such a bad candidate, a bad representative, and so many people despise him that with it just as the Libertarian, no Democrat in the race, his best bet is to keep people ignorant of the race and the race out of the media as much as possible. So that's what's happening. So I don't know what the effect is going to be, because basically the word has to get out. And interestingly enough, this is one of those things that shows you how the Democrats and the Republicans really are on the same side. You would think the Democrats would come out with some kind of statement regarding this, but they are completely silent as well.
Very well. They're just trying to be silent about everything in this thing.
Well, which ultimately is complicit in Jolly's plan, and they are helping Jolly.
Oh, absolutely, they're helping Jolly. And in Pinellas County so far, you have 49,000 absentee ballots that have been turned in. Did you know this?
I know that they're rolling.
Now, if you base it off of the total turnout, you're at 7.86% of total turnout right now. So that means that 7% of the electorate actually is turning in absentee ballots, or at least so far.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And the way that the breakdown has been is 17,910 of them have been Democrat, 21,075 of them have been Republican, and 10,025 have been other. With those three numbers being said, it is very possible that right now Lucas is winning.
Yes, and it's important to note that Pinellas County is an area that is decided by absentee ballot. If you have not won the race by the end of absentee ballots being turned in, you are not going to win. Not enough people go in person on election day and vote in Pinellas County to sway an election. Even if everyone that actually goes out votes for the same person, it's not going to change the results.
Yeah, and they are really updating these things real time, which I don't necessarily. They're giving almost too much information away, I would think.
Yeah.
But this week was a big week for. This week was a big week for absentee voters turning their ballots in. Though you had 13,000 on Monday, 11,000 on Tuesday, 7,000 on Wednesday, 6,000 on Thursday, and so far 20. But that's just, and again, it's updated real time. They give a lot of information out, though, maybe more than they should be giving out on this. Now, there's another person in the race. Well, there's two more people that we're going to talk about for the Pinellas County area. The next one is Tony Casso, who is running against Jack Latvala, one of the most disgusting politicians on the face of the earth. And it's a dang shame that the guy looks like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
really, it really is a shame that he looks like Santa Claus, because it makes me want to not like Santa Claus.
He looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi if he didn't live in the desert for all those years. You know, if he lived somewhere with a lot of food. Yeah, that's what he looks like.
Greg, well, I'm telling you what, Greg, you're getting way better. Like, I'm telling you what, you have moved into a new level of the one-liners, man. You really have, sir. I mean, kudos to you, sir, just for being able to do that. But that's another race that, Jack Latvala wants nothing to do with Tony. But I will say this, though. There's no Democrat in that race either, though.
No.
You know what I mean? It's.
Well, I commend Tony for being involved in this race, and I hope he wins. I hope he does well. But I think part of the reason why there's no Democrat in that race is because this area is his district, Latvala's district, is pretty much owned and operated by Jack Latvala. Talk about pay-for-play politics.
The guy should be in Africa.
Yeah, really, he is easily compared to an African warlord. The Latvalas are certainly in control of politics in the Pinellas County area and in Tallahassee as well, with his position as a state senator. And you can expect that Latvala son is now going to be in office with minimal campaigning necessary, simply on his name recognition, and it's going to continue. So I commend Tony for standing up and running against Latvala. But I think that's part of the reason why there is no Democrat in this race, because the Democrats know that it's a waste of time and money for them, and they're going to focus on areas that they actually stand a chance.
I got you. No. It is sad, though, that you can't find... There were 70 seats in the state of Florida for the State House and the State Senate out of 200 seats, basically, that went unopposed.
Yeah.
So, 35% of the seats, there wasn't even any competition.
Yeah. But I think a lot of that, we've talked about that before. Now, I think a lot of what I was just saying about, going up against Jack Latvala is true in many of those cases, especially when you get to the more rural areas where everybody knows everybody. It's like everybody knows there's no point in running against this guy, and that they're not going to win, so nobody goes up against this person. And any outsider that tries to come in and do that is going to be almost completely rejected by the locals because he is an outsider. And it's an easy argument to make. Well, you're not from this area. You just moved out here and are now running for office to represent us. You don't even know us. How are you going to represent us? So easily explained. It's sad, but it's easy to understand why a lot of these races are uncontested.
Yeah. And not this week. We're definitely not going to do that this week. But during probably maybe even next week's we should do it next week's show. Actually, next week's show we really should do a kind of like we'll do the sample ballot and go through each one of the races. I don't know if you're going to be able to pick one for every one of the races. Can you think you might be able to do that by next Friday?
For every race,
did you vote yet?
No. I am one of those people who really enjoys the voting process, and I do go on the day of election. I go on election day.
I actually do too. I totally agree with you. I will never vote early. I will never vote. I won't go to the early. Well, that's not true. Sometimes we got to make sure we're doing. I wonder what I'm doing wrong here.
It was fine. I didn't even see anything happen.
There's nothing happened, right?
Yeah. Okay, it looks like we're back.
We're back. All right, we're back. Hey, we're live. Liberty Underground Show, 1787network.com. Make a donation if you want us to not get knocked off all the time so we can buy better equipment.
Clearly, we need to improve our internet speeds.
Yes, we have to include the internet speeds.
Technology here.
That we don't have to have 80 computers on. Well, we don't today, though, but a lot of times we do have a whole lot of computers that are on. So we're back up. Let Ed back know. Up. All right, back up, Ed. All right, we're back up. So, where were we? Oh, we were on the CD13 race, or we were on the district race, or the Pinellas County race. The final thought here is on the Pinellas County race is you got a lot of people to go and vote for. A lot of area where you're going to be able to vote for multiple libertarians on the ticket, so make sure you do that.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to talk about was Wiley's campaign. Now we've spent a lot of time dedicated, a lot of time talking about Adrian's campaign on the show for good reason. Look, Adrian used to be on the show. He only got off because he was running for governor. However, this guy is running such a great campaign right now. It's not even funny.
Oh, yeah.
I know that they're excluding him from some of these things. And again, just to remind you, the protest, the statewide sine wave is tonight, 4 to 6 p.m. at locations across the entire state of Florida. Go to wileyforgovernor.com and you can actually see the different locations that we have and where they're going on right now. So it's going to be 4 to 6 p.m. They were down there protesting in front of Telemundo today. Got a lot of media coverage. Again, being excluded from the Telemundo wasn't the worst thing in the world because he got a lot of media coverage because of it. Add pressure, and they have a phenomenal case when it comes to the debate on. So there's going to be a lot of good things that can happen. So let's just make sure that. But the sine wave will help out tremendously. So let's make sure that that you're out there. If you can find one of the locations, let me know, or not let me know, but go on there and you let the person know that's at that location. We have contact information for all the locations and who you would contact. So please do that.
And for everybody listening on Tan Talk, you're in the Bay Area. I'm going to be out at Gulf to Bay and Belcher hosting that sign waving. I'm going to have signs, so you don't need to worry about making or bringing signs. You can if you like, but I'm going to have signs there. So come on out and join me at Gulf to Bay and Belcher at 4 p.m.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice, Greg, by the way. I really like that. Yeah, and go meet Greg, by the way. Go meet Greg.
I'm much more personable in person than I am online or on the air.
Really?
I'm nicer in person.
Yeah, you're pretty nice. You're a nice guy in person. I'll have to give you that. You're definitely a nice guy in person. And our website, 1787network.com. Again, just to finish up on the Wiley, though. Guy's been running a great campaign. Definitely deserves your vote, deserves your support. Go out there and support him this Friday. Now, if you got another candidate to go out there for, then come meet us out there as well. You want to go out, except for Scott and Chris, by the way. Don't get crazy. But, if it's somebody else down ticket, you're a big fan of Bill, you're a big fan of Lucas, go out there and let people know that there's you're a big fan of Tony. Let people know there's multiple people out there. A lot of these sign waves are going to be in different areas. Very, very well, and we're hoping that you will show your support.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have another libertarian candidate that you support that you want to come out and wave signs for as well, come and join us. It's certainly have no problem adding other libertarian candidates onto this. And I know there's a lot of crossover between the campaigns as far as who people support and who people are volunteering their time for. So there's no reason why if you support Lucas Overby or Tony Casso or Bill Wolsifer that you can't come out and join us. Bring your signs for those candidates, and you can stand out there along with us while we support Adrian.
Yep, exactly, by the way. A good show this week, by the way, Greg. If you missed some of the first hour of the show, there is something in there that is for your friends. Like, you may listen to the show and you like it a lot, but I actually did the first half hour of the show this week for your friends. It's for people that don't normally listen to the show, that aren't normally involved in politics, and that is for them. So go to 1787network.com, click onto our YouTube channel. It's on the right-hand side of the screen, and you can actually go and look at, you can go to that and you can download the YouTube channel, and you can take a look at, that first half hour, and give it to your friends is what you want to do. Like I said, we made it for them.
Or you can just get the audio of the podcast from
SoundCloud.
It'll be posted on the website 1787network.com. It's also at SoundCloud. That's where we host our podcasts.
That's true.
So you can go there directly and search for Liberty Underground, or just get it right off the website 1787network.com.
1787network.com.
While you're there, look for that big donate button. Click on that. Dig deep.
Remember, there's no limit. There's no limit. You could literally put $1 million on there if you wanted to.
Yes, you can donate to your heart's content, and help us out.
Yeah, do something with that.
Yeah, we need better equipment.
Almost sound like NPR just then.
We are only able to do this. This is made possible by your generous donations.
That's true. That did sound just like NPR, by the way.
Yeah.
Parting thoughts, Greg. Overall, did you feel like this was a historic week? It was very much a historic week. We are in uncharted territories in a lot of things. Did you feel like it?
Oh, yes. Here there be dragons. Yeah, it was definitely uncharted territory. I'm very excited about the way things going. All the campaigns in Pinellas County are just ramping up between the press that Adrian is getting for what's going on with him. One of Lucas's opponents coming out and endorsing him in the race. Bill Wolsifer's stellar performance at the AG debate. I just think this week has been phenomenal for libertarian candidates in the state of Florida, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and I'm glad that so many more people are coming out every day. And that's what I think is the best thing, is we are getting more supporters and more people coming out to help us every single day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely that's the case. Look, every time I go into an event, there's new people there that I've never met before.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the coolest thing you can have. I mean, that is really something special, that you go to these events and there's new people there that you've never met before. And they're very excited, and they're like, man, this is great. We can get this stuff done. And last night at the Lightning game, we had people out there, and they're telling me what our supporters out there were telling me is that 30% of the people, they were guessing, but it was 30% of the people that were going into the stadium were telling them that they already voted for him.
Nice. Well, that goes back to the whole you win on absentees in this area, and I think that's the case. I don't think that many people were lying. I know there is a percentage just to get us off their backs.
Yeah.
I already voted for him, but I'm sure that a good portion of them really have.
Now, and I asked the question that way too. By the way, I asked the question that way, and they said, "No, man, they were legitimately excited. They made the effort to come to them when they could have just walked by and said nothing."
Awesome. Then
So-
those are definitely.
I mean, those are. I mean, again, I don't know if they're lying. I mean, that's kind of rude, but you know, I don't think that they're lying. But again, it's really nice to see that. I really do think that Adrian is going to. I mean, no matter what, we're already in historic waters anyway. How we make really does come up to how much work we're able to put in to this thing. But I think we're going to be looking at some really good stuff come November here, man. I'm really excited.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's the music. Again, the website 1787network.com. All right, guys. We will see you next week. Have a good day.
Don't be mistaken, I believe.